You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the deep within the core, frozen atomic waste. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waste.
Hello and welcome to the 105th edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, joined by my best buddy in the world, Ray. What's going on, Ray?
Andrew, how you doing?
Very well, sir. How have you been? It seems like you've been just out and about all over the world, at least this greater United States and extended, domesticated territories as well.
Yeah, it's been some busy weeks.
Where, gosh, you got to go. I don't know if you like to reveal where you've been going, but you got to go fancy places. Did you get good food when you went fancy places, Ray? I know you're a food guy.
Yeah, I always find good food wherever I go because I try to stick with local stuff.
See, that's the key, right? Stay away from the stupid tourist areas.
Yep.
I assume. And you've been going to these places long enough where you've got like your spots picked out. Like, are these places you frequent, or do you have to go to different locations all over the place?
Sometimes it depends. So, one of the places that I go quite a bit is Puerto Rico, and a lot of the places that I have gone in the past sustained too much damage from the Hurricane Maria about a year ago.
I was going to ask if anything's still around, or geez, that's
So some of them are. Some of them aren't. You can always find someplace new.
Yeah. Did you go? Is this the first time you've been since the hurricane and stuff?
Yeah, it is.
I was going to see if you were closer to the hurricane, it might have actually, been more of a Fallout type environment after there. It was sort of destroyed.
Yeah, it definitely took a while to get things back.
But you said you got some great food. That's great. I was like hearing about Ray's food. He's an adventurous eater. And then you said you were off in California as well, back in your old hometown stomping ground. That's nice.
And I was up in Seattle.
Oh, Seattle too. Holy cow. You have been all over the damn place.
Yeah. So,
well, it's good to have you back. Do you have to keep traveling a lot more this month, or are you home for a little while?
Yeah, I'm home until Dragon Con, which is
oh yeah, gosh, you do sound and stuff for
coming up in a couple of weeks, so definitely getting excited about that.
Nice. Anything you're really looking forward to for Dragon Con that you can reveal to people, or do we know any schedule highlight?
It's still up in the air. The schedule hasn't been released yet, so.
Oh, okay, nice. Well, let us know when exciting stuff happens. People in the Atlanta area can start getting their juices flowing for Dragon Con. I know it's a popular event down there.
Yep.
Great. Well, we are doing feedback tonight for Rocket Shed, Traffic Jam, Prep School, and The Big Boat in the Sky. Everybody loves the USS Constitution. Got a whole slew of feedback, Ray. So I think we should go ahead and start jumping into stuff, right?
That's great.
Yeah. You have been traveling a lot, so I doubt that you've had a ton of time to get into any Fallout. Did you have any time to play any Fallout the last couple of weeks?
I played for about 15 minutes tonight just to make sure my game's still loaded.
Oh my God. Is there a save file anymore?
Yeah.
Hello, character. No,
so cool. It's all good.
Great. What were you in the middle of?
I just wanted to get things going on the Yangtze.
Oh, nice. Is that coming up next week?
Yep.
Sweet. That fits your character fairly well, right?
Yes, it does.
Sweet. Awesome. Looking forward to see what you have to do with that. We got a late submission right in here, squeaking in under the just under the chime of the hour here. So we'll start off the feedback with Freighter. Thanks, Freighter.
Hello all, this is Freighter, and I'm going to have to be very quick because I don't have a lot of time to do this. So if I'm too brief, sorry about that. Anyway, let's start quickly with the USS Constitution mission. So I actually didn't get time to finish this one, so I'll just talk about what I did do. there's just before you get to the ship, there's an area with a bunch of raiders. Instead of actually going and talking to the lookout who gives you the quest, I've done this before, so I decided I would kill all the raiders before I went there. I shot all the raiders that were in a building, the same building that all the raiders come from when they attack the ship later in the quest. Anyway, I killed the ones just to make it a little easier later in the quest. Then I talked to the lookout, and he gave me the mission. So you wander all the way up. Oh, and by the way, don't go in through the bottom of the ship. Go to the end of the ship. There's a little rescue raft or whatever that lowers down if you go over there, and it'll lift you up to the ship, saving you a bit of hassle. Talk to the ship captain, and yeah, he begs you for help, and they certainly need it because there's a lot of raiders about to attack. He's also quite delusional, which is funny. So yeah, when the attack starts, there are some cannons up on the top of the ship that you can use. Don't throw grenades and such, because if you accidentally kill the lookout guy, or damage him at all for that matter, all the rest of the robots turn on you and you fail the mission.
Oh, yes.
But if you use the cannons, it didn't seem to do any damage to the lookout. Yeah, once that's all done, that's pretty much the hard part. Fetch quests. So yeah, you got to talk to a robot named Bosun. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but close enough. He needed you to fix some things. So you got to find some power cables, which I think we're in a container not far from him. So you just go around. I think there was 3 boxes you had to fix the cables in. Supposedly if you have intelligence of 3 and up, you could repair them, but I mean the cables are available right there. You don't need that. Also, I happen to have a power relay coil on my person, so I was able to do the next stage as well. If you have an intelligence of 5, you can skip that as well. I don't, because my character Spade is an idiot. We have already talked about. Yeah, so I did all that. Then you have to talk to the navigator. He needs a guidance chip. Now, because I already killed Mandy and the rest of the raiders, it was easy enough just to walk in and take the guidance chip, which, by the way, shows up as stealing. Even though they're all dead. That's kind of stupid. But that's the way Fallout is sometimes. So I stole the guidance chip from the dead raiders. Took it back. That was easy enough. And unfortunately, that's about all the time I had. The next part, I believe you have to get a Poseidon radio transmitter. Something like that. And if I remember right, you have to fight a bunch of mud crabs and things of that sort to get that. And if you complete all that, you get a, what's it called? Broadsider, I think it's called, which is like a portable cannon. And it seems to me you also get the lieutenant's hat from the captain as well. Neither of those are particularly great, but whatever. They're neat to have. Yeah, cool. So that sums that one up. Next one we'll talk about is Traffic Jam. We'll actually talk about Traffic Jam and Prep School together, because they're pretty much together anyway. The goal is to finish Traffic Jam just to get the Prep School quest. So yeah, to start that one out, you have to go to Bunker Hill during the daytime, so the stores are open. And talk to Deb. She's the one in the tacky jumpsuit, blue with red stripes. Can't miss her. She needs you to go to the National Training Yard, kill some ghouls. So this is actually super quick. clear out all the ones on the outside. It's a lot easier if you take out the turrets first. Don't forget the ghouls that are hiding in the bus to the right of the building. And then go in the first building. There's 2 buildings. First building, you have to go in to get to the second building. But if you killed everything outside, you don't even have to bother with the second building. So you just go in the front door, and pretty much all the ghouls just come right to you as soon as you start shooting. So there's not a whole lot of work to do there either. Then you go back to Bunker Hill, talk to Deb. She's all cool. She's happy. Gives you $100 or so. I don't remember how much experience you get for that. It wasn't too substantial. Once you're done that, you can talk to Kessler, whose name I can never remember, so I wrote it down. Kessler is impressed by how much you worked to kill all those ghouls. Boy, is she happy. So she trusts you now. So now you get to go to the Boston Preparatory School, which is kind of a morbid place. Lots of ghouls. They've got their own little press gang thing going on. And yeah, if you have a little time, take the time to read all the terminals you'll find inside. And yeah, it's pretty interesting to see how these raiders press gang each other and brainwash each other into following, what's his, Zeller? Is that his name? I think he's the one in charge in there. I hope that's right. Anyway, so the idea is you go in the front door. The place is a disaster. Stairs are collapsed. You have to, it's kind of a maze. But yeah, if you bring lots of grenades and are even a little bit stealthy, it shouldn't be too hard. Take your time though. Once you get to the far end of the building, pay attention to the desks with the terminals on them. I can't remember which one, but it seems to me one of them had the keys that you need, so you don't have to lockpick the cells that the traders are in. So you have to rescue some traders. I think there was 3 of them. Once you've done all that, you've rescued the traders, make sure you cleared out all the loot, because there is quite a bit of loot to collect in that building. Head back, talk to Kessler, and you get the trade caravan post, or whatever it's called, which is really important. If you've never used it before, it really does help to be able to bring these traveling caravans to your whatever your favorite settlement is, or to all of them for that matter. And it really does save you a whole lot of hassle in the game if you do it that way. So I highly recommend that. Last but not least is the rocket shed. I actually thought this one would be the quickest and easiest, but this is the one I took the most notes on, interestingly enough. So to get to the rocket shed, the easiest way for me was to find the radio tower. There's a radio tower way far out west, about halfway down the map. So I went to that tower. I can't remember the name of it. Sorry. See, did I write it down? Yeah, Relay Tower OBB 915. I don't know if it's listed that way on the map, but there you go. You head north from there, or slightly northeast actually, and you'll see, well, you know, you need to go further east if you see a broken down fuselage of an airplane. So start heading east if you see that. Look for a little shed on a hill overlooking a whole lot of nothing. And for me, I actually played this a few different ways because my game kept crashing when I would leave this area. I'll get to that more in a minute and explain why and what to do to make sure you don't get this crash. So one of the times I went in and I had Pray and Spray, the gun that's uses 45 ammo and the bullets explode on impact. That wasn't the best idea. It wasn't as bad as it sounds, but for some reason those bullets don't work the same as regular bullets. They impact things differently. So anyway, that didn't go over too well, and then my game crashed. I started over, switched to Overseer's Guardian. It was cool. Then I was able to go in and launch those tanks. I guess they're full of propane, I'm not sure. But it's fun to watch them fly off and explode in the air. Then my game crashed again. So this time I was in a hurry. I just walked close enough to the shed that I could throw a grenade in. Blew them all up in one go. That was kind of cool. Every time I did something there, I would start to walk west, and then my game would crash. It turned out it's my mod is called. I think it's called Key Nuker. The idea is it makes it so you don't see every key in your inventory. It puts them on a keychain. If you have that mod and you're planning on doing your Nuka World DLC or going anywhere near that area at all for that matter, you're going to need to get rid of that mod because it causes the game to crash as soon as you walk through the area. Yeah, that was not cool. 3 crashes in one night. There's a few other things in that area too. Oh, one other thing I tried to throw an artillery smoke grenade in there because I thought that would be funny. Watch artillery shells from the Minutemen come crashing down, but I guess it wasn't close enough to my settlement that it affected anything. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you side with the Minutemen and get far enough with their quest line, Preston will give you some, or no, it's not Preston. I don't remember where you get the artillery smoke grenades, but you do. And if you're close enough to a settlement that you've set up their cannons, they'll actually bomb an area that you throw an artillery smoke grenade at. I thought that would be cool, but it didn't work for me because I wasn't close enough to my settlement. So that was a waste of a grenade. Also in the area, I found a couple of things. I noticed from that shed that there was a little far ahead with to the north. There's just a green glowing area. I went down there, and the radiation level was way high. So I took some Radaway and some Rad-X, went down in there with some power armor, and there was some good loot. And God, there was a toolbox, I think. A couple other things lying around and some skeletons. There's some interesting loot there. Unfortunately, I didn't write down what the loot was. But don't go there if you didn't bring a lot of Radaway and some Rad-X, because it's pretty horrible. A little to the west of that, I found a Deathclaw nest that I didn't know about. I hadn't seen before. So I killed that Deathclaw. That was actually easy. That was one of the weaker Deathclaws I've seen in this playthrough. There were 2 eggs there, too, interestingly left. So I got 2 Deathclaw eggs out of that. Use those later in the game. After I had activated the radio tower in that same area, there's a raider that has a radio broadcast. It says something about, look for 3 trees with flags. He's trying to sell chems, supposedly. So the radio says, these chems will really take your head off and spin it around. That's just a lie. Well, it's the truth. Kind of a white lie. He just wants to kill you and take your stuff. He's not going to sell you any drugs. Which is good, because drugs are bad for you kids. Stay away. Anyway, if you go there, kill the raider, turn off his annoying radio, you get some Radaway, some ammo, some psychotats, or at least that's what I found. Look to the left, or to the west of his little bunker there, and you'll see a trapdoor that leads underground, and you'll find the loot. And you can turn off that radio of his. All right, cool. Hopefully I covered everything there. Sorry, I'm in a bit of a hurry this week. Good luck with the show, and thanks for everything.
Freighter, Wendy wants to know, where were you when she still had teeth? Since you just told her that now drugs are bad. She didn't know that. Now she has no teeth, Freighter. Should have mentioned that a long time ago. Awesome. Thank you for the feedback, Freighter. The side ship entrance. Ray, I just remembered that as like my last time I was going back to the ship for the 100th time. I was like, oh yeah, there's this little side thing you go up. Is it like one of those window washer elevators or something?
Yeah, it's shoot. I wrote it down. It's the lifeboat at the back of the ship.
Oh, yeah, the lifeboat. Yeah, okay. Right. Yeah. After I went up and down 100 times, I then noticed and be like, oh crap, I should have been using that the whole time. Do you get access to that immediately, or do you have to unlock stuff first before you can get access to that?
I think you actually have to get, you have to start the quest with them. As soon as you've talked to Ironsides, it works. One thing I discovered when I was playing around and sided with the scavengers was that you lose access to that once you kill Ironsides.
No lifeboat. Lame. Yeah, always side with the. I mean, thanks Ray for salvaging or taking one for the team and going with the scavengers or what are they? Scavengers?
Yeah.
I've never done that. I always go with the robots because they're so fun.
Yeah, it's definitely the better way to go.
Yeah, that's kind of how you can tell they kind of wrote the game so that they want you to play it that way too. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And you get the lieutenant's hat after it crashes into the other building, and you go up and visit him there.
Is that how they pronounce it, Ray? I've heard people pronounce it that way too before.
Yeah, I guess that's the traditional British pronunciation. Lieutenant.
Okay, and that's the way the robots say it, right?
Yes.
Okay, bosun. I've only heard that word in like nautical movies. What is a bosun? Is it like the right-hand man of the captain?
I have no idea. I think he's the mechanic.
The mechanic. Okay. I'm not sure. I also know a guy who lives on an island and his dog is named Bosun. And I never asked him what the hell that meant. So, hey Freighter, I know that you're a little tired and distracted when you're making your feedback, but you totally said mud crabs. You're fighting mud crabs instead. Now I can't even remember what the fuck they're called either. The Mirelurks, yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Now, they should just have a mod. I assume there's one out there. You can just swap Fallout and Skyrim monster. Just have like dragons come into Fallout. Oh, that'd be pretty sweet. But
if you want if you want mortars to be able to attack the rocket shed, you'd have to put them in sunshine tidings.
Yeah. Will the one at the edge of the glowing sea, Somerset, will that one reach? Probably.
No, I think that's too far south.
Far. The second building he mentioned when you go to the fort or the armory, whatever that place is, to clean out all the ghouls.
Yeah.
I always end up going through that first one. I always forget you don't have to go through that first building. Just go to the second building directly and kill the things. Jeez. Do you not have to get a code or something? I always think I have to do that. Do you not have to do that?
You don't, but there's some good loot down there.
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing a sneaky character, there's a U.S. Covert Ops magazine in the commissary.
Good tip.
Yeah.
Sweet. Kessler, I write that name down just because it's funny. I'm a big Seinfeld fan, and Ray, I know you're not a huge sitcom fan, but in Seinfeld, one of the story arcs for one of the seasons is that they are writing the show Seinfeld. It's a show within the show. They do that thing when Jerry first he's like pretending that his career is going to this point. And now he's writing the show that he got hired that they're doing. We're watching that show right now within that show, that sort of stupid thing. but the person who within the show, who was Kramer, their name is Kessler. So every time I see this Kessler walking around, I expect them to like walk into a door and like hit their fucking head and do like a weird shimmy and fall down or something. I love that. Trade Caravan post. Ray, did you get that stuff?
Oh yeah.
First time I've ever done it. Is this something you try to get every game?
It depends on what I'm playing. But if the character is going to have any settlements at all, then I usually try to grab it.
Okay, so you actually have characters that don't have any settlements whatsoever. Nice.
Right. Yep.
I can see how this would be super useful if you don't have local leader 2. You can get a lot of different stuff coming to your different settlements, but you have to buy it all, right? But
yeah, well, it's also handy if you're doing, if you have a settlement and you're, you're making an excess of purified water to sell. When you have that trade caravan outpost, there's always somebody, parked there. And so you've always got an immediate sale available to you right there.
There's always one of the 5 or whatever, 4.
Yeah.
Are there?
There's
the doctor, the cricket,
the armor salesman.
That guy. It's weird. I saw all
trash can Carlo.
Okay. Yeah. Any more?
I can't think of any.
I saw 3 of them all standing around there at once. I was like, whoa.
Oh yeah, they'll stack up. Yep.
I didn't know that they could all be, but yeah. So that's pretty cool. I've never used that before. Thanks for working that into the season schedule. I believe Steve told us about that. So thanks a lot, man. That's pretty cool. I appreciate that. And I will. That's one of those things that I will try to include with most of my playthroughs from now on. I bet. I like that.
Well, and it's always good to kill that Raider group there. They're a nice tough fight, so it's always a lot of fun. And if you read as you go, you become more and more motivated to wipe this guy off the out of the Commonwealth.
Yeah,
because he is bad. Some of the if you read the terminal in the main area there where it talks about the different people that and their nicknames, it's pretty gruesome. It's about how they were tortured before they finally broke down and signed the blood contract.
Jeez, grotesque.
Yeah,
cool. He mentioned a mod crash as well. Do you remember what mod he was mentioning over there?
It was his keychain thing.
Oh yeah, that is a nice one though. I used to use that every once in a while. So be careful. And he said it was just in that specific area though, right?
Yep.
We're by the rocket shed. Artillery smoke grenades. Those are some of my favorite weapons in the game. I love that. Ray, did you have the Archimedes thing to work in New Vegas?
No.
It was go back and get that working.
Yeah.
It was like a similar type of item.
Yeah, and I have done the castle before, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've had the mortars. I don't typically, but.
Well, you don't seem like a Minuteman type guy.
Not so much. It's so limiting, and I like to go places on my own schedule, not on Preston's.
You don't like to be generic Cub Scout good guy? Come on. I love them, they're my favorite. Let's see. I like the Raider radio broadcast. They try to lure you in, and so and we've mentioned it before. Ray, I assume you've gotten all those beacons up. Do they all have their like little mini side quest to either rescue someone or kill a raider or something simple like that, right?
Yeah, they all bring on new radio stations.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Well, thank you for the feedback, Freighter. Let's go ahead and check in with Jen.
Hey, Fallout friends, Jen here. I've got my second round of feedback for you guys. Again, my character's name is Crystal, and she's so far at about level 30. And I've been concentrating on the Iron Fist and Sandman perks that I was assigned. So I'm playing a bit of a sneak, unarmed character. She's working with the Furious Power Fist from Swan. That's been really, really awesome. And also an exploding shotgun. It's a legendary that is kind of like the generic brand spray and pray. Also a sniper rifle. And so far she's found some really great armor, including chameleon armor, which generates a stealth field. I'm not usually a sneak character, but this is really kind of exciting and very different than my commando big gun build that I usually play, or, you know, melee, just bashing things in Skyrim. That's usually my favorite build. But it's really satisfying to see the multipliers happen when you're in sneak. So I did the Rocket Shed this week, and unarmed, not the best for Rocket Shed. I hit it with a power fist first, and it caused the canisters to explode in front of me. My exploding shotgun, because I was so close to the canisters, exploded in my hands and crippled my arms. The sniper rifle was great because I could aim for that little nozzle really accurately, but I couldn't do it without a scope. It was pretty inaccurate without a scope, so I had to back out of the door almost to get a decent aim on them. But it was an awesome show otherwise. I love that Rocket Shed. The next one I did was Traffic Jam. So I'm learning that with this sneaky build, again, sometimes things surprise you as much as you can surprise them. Like the glowing one in the bathroom stall at the barracks. That was really, really surprising to me and took a lot of, a lot of punches and a lot of ammo because he was pretty hard to kill. I also, for the first time, found the password to the armory building. I've usually tried to pick that open with lots and lots of lockpick, but I'd forgotten that accessing the armory building releases a sentry bot. It is a big, bad sentry bot, and I tried to, when I exited the armory building, I tried to sprint away from it, but Nick got really ballsy and tried to take it on himself without me. He eventually caught up to me. He didn't end up finishing him off. I didn't have enough ammo to go back and try and get him in the fusion core, which is a fun way to take out sentry bots. But I'm pretty sure he's still there pacing back and forth looking for me. So the next quest we had was prep school from Kessler. So after you turn in Traffic Jam, Deb told me to talk to Kessler, and it sent me to the East Boston Preparatory School on the hunt for a dude named Zeller. I'd forgotten to put my power fist on while I was going through the initial first few rooms of the building, and I discovered the glory of unarmed combat when I saw the animation of me lifting a guy over my head and smashing him down on my knee. Those unarmed animations are fantastic when you can use them. At this point, I'd gotten a really nice recon scope for my rifle. And so I got Zeller and his buddy through the hole in the wall where they were hiding. There was a really sweet spot where I could stand. I also took time after everything, all the caravanners were released. I took some time to read the terminals and the blood contract notes that I'd found on the bodies, and realized how much of an evil jerk Zeller was. On my way, though, between these quests, I triggered the last voyage of the USS Constitution, which is my all-time favorite side quest, mostly because it reminds me of Come Fly With Me in New Vegas, where you can send a group of ghouls to space, but also because of the amazing dialogue of the robots. So I have a hard time not siding with the robots, so I sided with the robots since I figured it was in character for Crystal, because she could learn more from repairing the ship than she could from working with the kind of untrustworthy scavengers. The final repair to the ship sent me to Fort Hagen, which I was kind of holding off on because I was a little scared of the fight with Kellogg. I hadn't done it yet. But when I finally got to it, it wasn't as bad as I thought. I usually give any incendiary weapons I have to my companions so I can see what they've hit when we're out and about. And this time it worked to my advantage because Nick set Kellogg on fire with his rifle, and he was really, really easy to see, even when he was stealth. So it was a hard fight, but it was not as hard as it usually is. It was at this point that Nick asked me to look into the Eddie Winter holotapes, knowing that's a massive fetch quest and it takes a really long time. And also how often he asks about it when you're traveling with him. I parted ways with him temporarily and picked up that handsome Brotherhood fellow I'd left at ArcJet. So Dance came back with me to the Constitution, and when we finally got the ship into the air, he turned to Crystal and said, someone needs to teach that ship's navigator a few lessons. That's it for my feedback this week, or this 2 weeks. And I'm going to try my best to get the third one into you guys on time. So thanks so much for listening, and see you in the wasteland.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jen. New participant there, Ray. Second time submitter. Thank you so much, Jen.
Yeah, great stuff.
Really cool. A sneak unarmed character, Ray. Have you done stuff like that? Wait, you're doing that in Skyrim. You're doing that in Skyrim right now, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I've moved on from that character. It's
sucks so bad.
It is not easy. It's infinitely harder than with melee. But
yeah,
in the early levels, probably through about where she's at now at 30. It's not too bad. It does have great animation for your kill moves,
like the suplex and power slam.
Yeah. And if you're in power armor, it's pretty much unstoppable. I mean, you can just punch the crap out of stuff.
Did she mention doing blitz and stuff like that, or no?
No, she didn't.
Because I think that would work pretty well with the sneak unarmed character, right?
Yeah.
You could like zip through a whole fucking entire room. Just like teleporting yourself across the whole building. Catching guys.
Yeah, but so she's got the exploding shotgun, and
yeah,
while it's a lot of fun, I mean, that is probably the easiest way to kill yourself.
Yeah, that is a loner type of weapon too. Your companions will just be constantly down.
Yeah,
around you.
I mean, with at least with spray and play, which I also blow myself up with a lot. You can shoot a little farther away, but the shotguns, you have to be so close. That, I mean, right. You're constantly taking a little bit of splash damage from those exploding shells.
One of my favorite weapons I ever had, I believe, was the kiloton rifle. Does it also explode? I can't remember. I know it has radiation damage. Does it also have the explosive effect?
I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah, that's always been my favorite weapon. I love that one.
Yeah.
But hot tip, anyone out there, I'll go into the Nuka World. You want that 1,000 ticket BS achievement. There's one of the games you have to do to get tickets or something like that. Take that explosive shotgun with you.
Yeah, you can't miss.
You kill everything in a close vicinity. I love her adventures with the rocket shed. She can't hit it with anything in her inventory, so she's got to back out of the shed and use her sniper rifle. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's the safest way to do it anyway.
Oh, yeah. Well, you heard me, I bust out the Adam's Judgment, and I have the similar experience of getting, tank shrapnel metal right in my face.
Yep.
Didn't take off or fly anywhere. It just fucking exploded. Didn't give me time to get away. She compared the USS Constitution. Okay, she said it's her favorite side quest in the game, which, kudos. That's a very good choice.
Yep.
She compares it with Come Fly With Me from New Vegas, Ray. Do you see that insight?
Oh, that's an awesome comparison. You know, because it's that same thing. You're helping, in this case, the robots on a hopeless mission. That they are just so positive about that you just can't help but help them. So yeah, great correlation there.
That's great, Jen. Good pull. Wonderful.
And shooting Zeller through the holes in the wall. You can also kill him through the holes in the floor. Because when you're in the level right below him, there's a few places in the room that he's in that you can shoot through.
Nice.
And I've killed him that way before. It's kind of fun.
Sneaking might be hard.
Nah, I mean, he starts shooting at you, but you've got a better shot at him than he has at you. So
yeah, sweet. Kellogg. She mentioned going over to Hagen. Do you have to fight Kellogg?
No, she went above and beyond.
I was gonna ask, like, if you're not that far in the, I don't think I've progressed the.
No, because the chest
now, but I hadn't progressed the main quest line that far at that point. But I have now.
Yeah, the chest with the pump bearings is in the room where you take the elevator down to go see Kellogg.
Mm-hmm.
And that elevator is only active if you have activated that quest.
Okay.
But you don't have to go all the way through to be able to get the pump bearings to finish the Constitution. And
I love her strategy with battling Kellogg. I've never even thought about doing that with a stealth character. Always take a freaking Molotov with you and just throw it. And as long as they're on fire, you'll always be able to see them. That is brilliant. I never even thought about doing that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's a great idea. She's got to ditch Nick because he gets a little mouthy.
A little naggy about finding the tapes.
Hey, how we doing on those tapes, buddy? God damn it, Nick. Shut up. But Dance, he always has a quick quip on the way out against the robots too. That's funny. Jen, again, thank you so much for your feedback. Ray, any last thoughts there?
Nah, I think we're good.
Sounds good. All right, Jerem, you're up, bub.
Hello, Fallout Feed. This is Jerem from Boston, Massachusetts, checking in. I've been following along with the roundtable. I haven't given any feedback since the bobblehead season. Midway through, I kind of fell off with the feedback. I was playing along, but I fell behind on kind of the assignments, and I just, I didn't have time to. I like taking notes and writing out all the things that I did so I could give very thorough updates. But like I said, I got sidetracked in life. Real life kind of got in the way. My play time's vastly dropped lately, but I still steal hours late at night between like 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. Randomly here and there. But what really got me sidetracked in the bobblehead season, besides the lack of my time to play, I still get a couple hours here and there, but it's just my love of building settlements. The more I play Fallout, the more I realize how insanely manic I am about meticulously building all of these settlements and making each one unique and feel like its own thing. I was always a big roller coaster tycoon Sims player, and in all of those, I just loved building custom things, making it feel like my own world. And I really turned this Wasteland Germ character into my second life, my alternate reality that I live in, spend time and build settlements for the Minutemen as the general of the Minutemen. And I've capped my settlements can hold up to 22 people. I probably have 5 of them at the max. And I don't know. I think at this point I'm up to probably I'm providing for over 200 settlers between all my settlements. What really got me during the Bubbleheads sidetracked was once I got to the Atom Cat's garage, I kind of role played into this, the general of the Minutemen. I had the castle and I had a bunch of settlements up north, but this was my southern expansion. And from there, I was still gathering the Bobbleheads, but I was falling behind from building and gathering Warwick Homestead, Jamaica Plain, Somerville, Vault 88. Dear God, I spent so much fucking time in Vault 88 clearing it and destroying all the rubble in all the different places and building my own whole vault. And it's really elaborate, and I still have some touches to add to it, but I only get to it every once in a while when my character actually visits there. I literally I've spent so much time at each settlement. There's only a handful that I haven't touched. Maybe of the 25 I have, maybe 5 I haven't built more than a bed and a couple things, maybe workbenches. It's just funny to me. I understand why people aren't into the settlement thing. It totally takes away from the whole combat and the survival. And maybe in some people's opinions, but to me, I think what keeps him coming back is the settlement building and just that added detail of immersing yourself in this world of, not only do I have to survive in it, but I can build it. It just really tickles my fancy. And I think it's just funny how that that the content of the settlement building is such a, people have such drastically different opinions on it. That's actually one of the things I'm really looking forward to in Fallout 76, the camp, and seeing more of that. And I'm really excited to hopefully share my love of building with other wasteland wanderers. And so my latest foray, I'm kind of building all these settlements at once. I really have a nice thing on the hill of this glass tower in Somerville, and I have my Vault 88. Starlight Drive, I have this huge wooden structure leaning up against the big board there where they used to project the movies. Outpost Samoja has this great concrete tower with salespeople on the bottom floor and living quarters and such on the next floors. But my latest love is Nordhagen Beach. And I know I've been a part of the group and I've listened for over a year now. And I've been playing the game for a couple years, a lot. And I've never unlocked or been to Nordhagen Beach. And while it is just another settlement, I agree with Andrew. It's just the most lovely, peaceful kind of little getaway for Wasteland Germ. And I'm currently building that out to be this awesome little sort of a resort in a sense. I have this beautiful deck on the shore with patio chairs and tables and some pommel horses and entertainment. I have 4 bungalow shacks lining the coast with windows to see the view, and each one is individually decorated. And then I also have this kind of marketplace, open air, some of it's covered marketplace where I'm building all the different stores and shops. Currently, I only have two or three settlers that I've just been building out, and now I need to get the radio beacon to bring them in and open up this resort. But I'm really excited to share some photos with you guys. During this whole playthrough and my love of the settlements, I've been meaning to Twitch stream settlements as I finish them, but I haven't gotten around to it, and I keep thinking I'm going to do it. But one of these days, I swear to God, I'm going to do it. And I'll just have some short little video clips of them. Just not that I don't know if anyone's interested in watching them, but more for just me and my manic self of, if this data gets lost, I want to still be able to remember it. But yeah, it's Nordhagen Beach. It really is the bee's knees. I'm about it, and super stoked I finally have gotten to experience it. See, I mean, like I said, I've just been BSing around the wasteland, mostly settlement building, but in between, I've been doing the Fallout Roundtable assigned quests as my in-betweens when I run out of bottle caps and junk to go get more crap to sell and to build. I have finally gotten all of the bobbleheads, which is awesome. My character is up to level 72. I've been using my perks in all my assignments, but just a quick reminder, some of the key ones were Rifleman and Medic, and I wasn't assigned Strongback because I haul so much shit, I've done Strongback, which also makes going into Power Armor a real pain in the ass, because even souped up Power Armor, I can carry more without it, which is kind of dumb. And then my special, I don't know if this is smart, but with my perks, I've basically just upped my special all the way. I just wanted to see what it was like and how it played. And now I'll essentially have all the other perks to go ahead and get, as I level up, which it's going to be a slow go for that, but they're all at my availability, I suppose. But basically, I've got them all my special all the way up except for luck in all the categories. Like I said, I'm level 71. I'm surprised that enemies have leveled to keep the game kind of competitive. And, it's not too easy. I'm not walking around I'm having the same amount of difficulty, I guess, which is nice. Also, just a random item that I love that I've gotten. I don't really even use it that much, but I just love it, is the World Series bat of 2076. I believe it's in the Jamaica Plains treasury, or the treasure in Jamaica Plain. I just love using that. It has the random perk of it sends someone flying randomly, like maybe 10% of the time. And when you crack that bat over a super mutant or a ghoul, and they go flying, and it makes a bat crack noise and like a crowd screams. It's I don't know. It's just an item I got that I really love that I thought I'd share. And if you guys haven't tried it, you should definitely get it. It's like I said, in Jamaica Plain. I'm really excited I haven't been to DB Technical High School, but I'm really excited to get that bear hat, because while I am a Minuteman and General of the Minutemen and committed to them, I've been dabbling with the Brotherhood of Steel and been hanging with Dan's. I want to put that bear head on him. I think that'll look great with his power armor, since he doesn't wear a helmet. Man, yeah, I've just been trying to keep up with the round table as I can. But like I said, my people and my settlements, they call to me and they need me, and I gotta take care of them. But I'm gonna try to in between, do the different quests. Like I said, I don't know if I said it, but I'm rolling my character from the bobblehead into this round table. This character is going to be I'm kind of going about it completionist in a sense. It's all vanilla. I'm getting kind of the achievements as I go. It's been a real blast. I guess one last thing I'll just touch on is that I feel like I've heard discussed multiple times in the round table is assaultrons and blowing their legs off. And I recently encountered that for the first time during the bobblehead playthrough, but then I've seen it a ton lately. And there's just nothing more terrifying than when you got their legs down, but they have that laser beam charged at you. And you're in the middle of reloading or something, or you're not going to be able to kill him in time, and you just see that red glow get brighter and brighter, and then all of a sudden Death Stars right into you and just destroys you. I don't know. It's just such an epic animation and attack. I really enjoy that. One last random thing. I found a long time ago, I did the quest for Skinny Malone and, getting Nick out of the Park Street station, and I let Skinny live. And I ran into him shortly after I'd brought Bill. Well, I was in the South and I was with Billy, and I was near his house, and I saw this guy randomly kind of out just south, kind of in the marshes, just all by himself. And I vatsed into it, and it said Skinny Malone, and I went up to it, and it was fucking Skinny Malone in the middle of the South. And I forget what he said, to be honest, but it was the most bizarre thing. And I just, little things like that where you run into a character again is awesome. The same thing actually happened with General Brandis. If you do the Lost Holotapes quest with the Brotherhood of Steel, I don't know if I just missed something, or maybe I wasn't far enough in the Brotherhood of Steel quest line, but I think it was before I even went and met Dan's, I had done that quest and found Brandis up in the southern bunker there all alone, and I kind of thought that quest was over, and I must have done some, I think maybe I started the Brotherhood stuff, and I randomly kind of happened to up there again, and I visited him, talked to him, and then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot you're up here. And then it actually had a quest line kind of speech check where I could convince him to join the Brotherhood of Steel again. But just those little things where you see these random people pop up is just the greatest. It just really makes the magic of the game. I've rambled long enough, Jesus. Not my best feedback, very all over the place. I didn't have much to say, but you guys keep it up. I love listening to all the feedback of the group and participants, and also Sarah, Ray, and Andrew have been doing a great job, and thanks so much for doing what you guys do. I guess that's it, and I will see you in the wasteland.
Awesome. Thank you, Jerm. Settlement builder extraordinaire, evidently. Ray, he's talking
alive.
talking about the vast plethora of opinions from, all anyone can ever do is build settlements, and then that's Jeremy's end of the spectrum, and then there's Ray's end of the spectrum where fuck settlers, right? Oh,
So
right.
Nordhagen Beach is a fun place to build because you can build way out over the water.
Yep.
So you can make a nice boardwalk and the whole 9 yards.
One of that season of the Roundtable that I had Nordhagen as my assigned settlement, I built an incredible, awesome structure, and it was way out over the water. It was really fun. I had power armor things there, so I'd get in my power armor to jump off a really large tower into the water, and then kind of clunk around underwater for a little bit and stuff. It was fun. It's really cool. At beachfront property and stuff, and then that nice view of that stupid Brotherhood of Steel ship, whatever that dumb thing's called.
Right. Well, and if you are going to go against the Brotherhood of Steel, towards the end of the game, it's a great place to build some of those Minuteman mortars.
Yes, exactly.
And then when you go over there, you don't have to kill all those paladins. You can just throw a few smoke grenades around the place and rain fire.
Yeah, that's great. Just up the road from Nordhagen, there's a little burnt out house that's got, if I remember, there's a suitcase that has a few nice items in it. But continue on, and there's an old armory that I've been sent to on some sort of Radiant quest, probably by the Brotherhood, I'm sure, when those two are sending you out on all those crazy Radiant quests.
Yeah.
But there's when I found it, it might have been due to my level. I doubt it's always this level, but I found some Exo-1 power armor there. There's a little checkpoint, not at the base, but sort of across the way behind the checkpoint. There's a set of power armor in there. Oh, I remember what it is. Isn't that where you go
for clear out the mutants? Yeah,
super mutants from a helicopter from one of the vertibirds or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I did that not too long ago. Except for they actually shot down the vertibird. Did you know that could happen?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that could happen. I was shooting at him, and all of a sudden, oh, fuck, we're going down. Watch out.
Yeah. You do get a lot of raider attacks at Nordhagen.
There's a ton. They come from across the bridge, and super mutants come from the town. Up the way.
From the fort.
Yeah, from the fort. It's crazy. I'm surprised robots don't attack you too from the racetrack.
Yeah, and on the Sultrons with their legs, shot off.
yeah.
Yeah, they they up the scary factor. Not only do you know you're going to get blasted by the beam, but they crawl on their belly with their arms and chase after you. And it's a great
Pulling you. Oh yeah.
great cinematic.
Very cool. Did he say he's using some sort of mod to mess with his perks and special levels? He said all of his specials were all up to 10.
No, he's at level 72.
Oh, nice.
he's just been racking them up.
No, he just said because he did mention later that he's playing vanilla and going for achievements.
Yep.
The World Series bat. I've never actually done that. That sounds amazing. You can send them flying.
Yeah, there's a bunch of the treasure of the Jamaica Plains. That's one of the items you find.
I've definitely collected that item, but I'm usually not a melee guy, so I've never actually swung it. I didn't know that there was that perk to it. I probably didn't even read it probably says it right there in the caption when you pick it up. You know what I mean? Go pick up that Bosco head, Germ. It's a fun little item. He's doing the completionist with achievements, like I mentioned. I was about to attempt that because I'm doing no mods right now too, but it's just too much of a freaking undertaking. Ray, you're such a mod guy. I doubt you've even cared to do achievement questing at all.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine what the actual start of the game is like. It's been so long since I've done it.
One a what?
Yeah, no. Alternate start is definitely my mod of choice. I can't start a game without it.
What the fuck is Skinny Malone doing out in the southern swamps?
No telling. Somebody must have kicked him out of the vault.
So, okay. Just quickly explain the circumstances under which that would happen. I always kill him.
What are the options with him? You can kill him. You can convince him to let you guys run. And I think there is one other one where you can get him to leave. I know you can get Darla to leave. But I don't know. I usually kill him too. Shocker.
He's so likable. Yeah. And that Brandis guy, I ran into him because I'm doing some Brotherhood of Steel stuff. But I think you can always make him do that option where you try to make him join. And I think this Brotherhood actually send you up there at one point once you tell him they exist or whatever. And he's like, hey.
Yeah, you tell him that you found the last patrol, and yeah, it's not until they actually come to the Commonwealth, but after that, then you get that.
And there's also another recruitment to try to get her back is the doctor in the Institute, whatever her name is.
Yeah. Is that Dr. Lee?
Might be. Very well could be. I don't recall off the top of my head. I bet you someone in the chat's going to shout it at us. So great feedback, Jerem. Thank you so much for sending that in. And let's check in with Steve.
So, what has Timmy been up to?
Wait a second.
Well, Kia ora, everybody.
Yeah, I thought I missed that.
Here. So, what has Timmy been up to? Well, what has he not been up to is more like it. Timmy's been laying waste to the Commonwealth. He's torn through the countryside hills and marshes. With his unique power armor, he's been decimating scattered pockets of raiders whilst also retrieving technology. He's assisted multiple locations to build themselves into self-sustaining individual societies. He's been using power armor almost exclusively. It's a hodgepodge mix of armor sets. There's an Exo 1 helmet. He's been using the legs from the horse armor for the jump and speed bonuses. The torso and left arm are from the Tesla T60 set from the Automatron DLC with the bonus to damage energy weapons of 5% per item. So that's an extra 10% dealt with energy weapons. And Tessa's Fist, which has quadruple the health. And so you get that one, Tessa's Fist. You get that off of a raider in Quincy named Tessa, and it's pretty good. All the pieces have been upgraded to the max stats and have a paint that adds a small bonus. It's not a uniform paint job that adds an overall bonus, though, because all the pieces are from different sets and they don't use the same paint jobs. I've added a in-game mod to the helmet that gives night vision or infrared, and then last night I just added a jetpack. So I highly suggest if you're going to do a power armor run, then you need to get the nuclear physicist perk, which at level 3 your radiation weapons will do double damage. And here's the important thing for power armor: fusion cores last twice as long. There's also a thing with it that the fusion cores can be ejected from power armor like nuclear grenades. That's caught me out before. If you don't have a specific grenade or mine selected, then your fusion core will pop out your back and explode. I'm not sure how handy this is. It seems like a waste of your core to me, but I suppose in certain situations, that double damage for the radiation on weapons is awesome, though. Other perks he's using are chem resistant. Timmy uses lots of chems. He's got no issues with chems. Maybe he should take chemist when some free perk points pop up. Awareness. I don't know if I really find it that helpful. The 5% to hit in VATS is nice, I guess, but I never really pay attention to the weaknesses of the enemies. Hacker level 4 is interesting. I thought it was just going to let me keep clicking on passwords until I got it, but it only removes the 10-second wait if you guess 4 times wrong. So my usual method is I start with clicking 3 random choices, see if I hit it, and if I don't, then I do a scan for the closed brackets, closed parentheses, which do one of 2 things. They either remove a dead password or it can reset your guess count back to 4, so you can keep guessing at that point. So high intelligence does make hacking very much easier. I love when the mysterious BIG comes out and helps me. Love that guy. And moving target. Yeah, moving target perk. At level 3, it gives a plus 50% damage and plus 50% energy resistance when you're sprinting. But only when you're sprinting. And then at level 3, sprinting costs 50% fewer action points. Sprinting in power armor uses up your fusion cores, but I don't know. At 50% less action points, I may sprint more. Or now and then. Faction was the Minutemen, but I've really been enjoying the BOS. It's weird. I never really liked them that much, but I'm having a lot of fun with them this time around. Plus, if I do end up going with them, then I can get a couple more unique named pieces of power armor. I may end up choosing them for taking out the Institute, but I can't see keeping them around forever because I do plan on doing a Raider run of the Commonwealth. I'll work on some motivation for Timmy's eventual turn to Raidering. But to kind of get a taste of Raidering, I was going to have Timmy side with Mandy in the Scavengers at the on the last voyage of the USS Constitution. But Mandy was so skeevy when she was talking to Timmy, and also hearing Ray's report from the podcast last week where you don't get anything but double crossed by them. So I ended up having Timmy help out Ironsides. He got the hat and the broadsider. I'm going to start carrying the broadsider around and utilize some of that heavy gunner perk I got assigned. I also found out that if you use the iBot pods to seek out ammunition, you can use it to find cannonballs because, there's not like a whole crap load of cannonballs everywhere. But when you do find them, you get like 35. So that's cool. I've been collecting settlements, a bunch of them. I'm using Sim Settlements with Rise of the Commonwealth mod. So I get a settlement, and then I just let the mod handle building it up. I dump almost all junk weapons and armor into them. So Timmy's quite the picker-upper of everything. Good thing he has a carry weight of 410 right now. I'm thinking of adding, was it Strong Back? Once I have some free perks, but I don't know. That's still a few levels away. Built a trade caravan post at Sanctuary Hills, and I found Doc Weathers there. He normally only goes to Bunker Hill County Crossing in the slog, so yeah, traders that normally wouldn't go to a settlement will appear when you put one of those down, and now everybody should have one. Having fun just running around right now doing lots of Radiant quests for the Institute and the BOS, just for the XP, and not interacting with the railroad at all. I think Deacon's still sitting at the interchange waiting for me to help him come with Tradecraft. Getting settlements and building them up. I do like to dress some of the settlements up, like Somerville Point. I put all the settlers in raider harnesses and the burlap sack masks, and so it's like a settlement of scarecrows. And Kingsport Lighthouse is all decked out in Children of Atom gear, and the Red Rocket is like just normal raider gear. I plan on using my Tunnel Snakes outfit somewhere and putting pompadour wigs on all the settlers. I haven't decided which one to do that at yet. And I've been doing some Far Harbor, going up to Far Harbor, but not Nuka World yet. I'm saving that. I want to build up as many settlements first as I can. And so, all right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the wasteland.
Kiora, Steve. Ray, ever done a Raider playthrough like that?
Yeah, for the roundtable, Nuka World roundtable, I did.
Yeah, and did you actually go back to the Commonwealth and take over settlements and do that whole shebang? I've never done all that.
Yeah, that was part of it. It was interesting, but definitely not a real fun way to play.
I love torturing people, just killing innocent, settlers. Screw those guys. He's leaving Deacon waiting. I found that's funny. There's tradecraft you got to leave hanging if you want to do the Institute in a certain way, so you can get Liam's glasses. So in my playthrough, I'm also betting Deacon's still waiting over there. What's their stupid little thing? Pit Boys in the shop or something?
Oh,
Geiger counter.
Yep.
Yeah. Pit Boy. I'm dumb. He's running the Sim Settlement Rise of the Commonwealth mod. I thought that sounded funny. Brilliant. Ray. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So Sim Settlement was a fun mod to play with. They really build some elaborate, structures and everything over time. But part of building settlements is getting the XP for all the building. If you build with Sim Settlements, you don't get the XP.
Yes, that is
so you build up all those settlements, and where if you get if you do it yourself, you'll go up a lot of levels for each settlement that you build up over time.
Now, I dropped a commercial zone down, and someone built a shop there. Could I actually have a merchant there? You can't actually buy stuff from that guy, can you?
I don't know. I haven't played with it extensively enough to really know.
I think I don't know how much of it is functional versus decorative. You know what I mean? I think it's a lot of decoration.
Yeah.
Could be functional though. Not exactly sure. Like you, I didn't play around with it a ton.
Yeah.
Moving target, that's one that I am also invested in, Steve. But then you were talking about your fusion cores a lot here. Like you want to conserve your fusion cores. But then I was thinking, at a certain point, I mean, I'm running around in power armor almost all the time now because I'm doing, my Brotherhood of Steel playthrough here. But at a certain point, it's just like Skyrim with gold. At a certain point, you hit a threshold where you just have plenty. You know what I mean? And you just don't really need to worry about it. So is the nuclear physicist thing where it conserves and makes your fusion cores last another 50% longer? Is that actually something that you find useful, Ray?
Yeah, if you're going to play power armor,
Yeah.
because even though you do find a lot of them through
I just have, like-
over time, if you're in power armor all the time, you're burning through them like crazy.
I just have like 70 of them in my inventory or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you find a lot of them, but if you start out the game and you're playing in power armor
early, yeah, okay,
they're not lasting very long, so you're going through them like crazy.
I'll give you that. The first 10, 15 levels, they are way more scarce, and yeah, they don't seem to last nearly as long. Okay, great feedback here, Steve. I agree with you. Get the jetpack, nuclear physicist perk, the radiation damage, the double damage. That is pretty sweet. That was built into my character that I got to use the kiloton rifle, which was that radiation explosive rifle. Had the radiation damage, the explosive damage, and then when you get that that perk, the nuclear physicist, that actually doubles that damage on top. It gets a crazy leveling, just damage upon damage upon damage, Ray. It was really nice. Good stuff.
Yep.
All right. Well, okay. We have an email I'd like to get to here real quick. Do I still have my email pulled up? Yes, I do. Here. Oh, I would like to do a shout out to a very new listener. Been in the group for just a little bit now, interacting on Twitter. Thank you, new member Sarah, for coming into the group. Spoke on Twitter just a little bit, convinced her to roll a character, so here we go. Sarah writes in, I really wanted to be able to record this today, but I had to do some of that boring old adult stuff and didn't get a chance, but don't worry, next roundtable I record my next submission. Fallout Roundtable character name Josiah, female, sex, let's see, female, sex female, follower Hancock Romance McCready, Commonwealth Railroad, Settlement Bunker Hill, Far Harbor Harborman. Far Harbor Settlement is the Visitor Center, National Park Visitor Center. Nuke World Faction, the Commonwealth. There you go. Special. Let's see. She had a 22459, so that intelligence is 9, and 33. Oh, so everything's pretty low. That's interesting. High intelligence and a medium charisma, but everything else is. That's an interesting role there. Aqua Girl, Rifleman, Rad Resistant, Animal Friend. Interesting. Party Girl. Is that the chems one? Party Girl, you don't get addicted. Action Girl.
Alcohol.
Oh, alcohol. Okay. Action Girl, your AP. Okay, Action Girl's great. I love that one. And Mysterious Stranger. Ooh, I like Mysterious Stranger. I know some people make fun of it, but I like that. Some people don't like that it takes your XP. It takes your kill.
Or if you use the mod like Steve does, you get...
oh, yeah. I wrote that down. I forgot to mention it.
Biggie, popping up and helping you out.
Yeah, the Notorious B.I.G. What was the mod actually called, though? I wrote it down. Let me say. No, here. The Notorious... Oh, the Mysterious B.I.G.
Yep.
That's hilarious. And I think, doesn't it, like the Sting, doesn't it give a music Sting of one of Biggie Smalls?
I haven't played with it.
That's hilarious. That's really funny. Right on. Let's see here. So confession time. I've got about 500-ish hours banked into the game, and I've yet to beat the main story quest, though I know what happens in it. Oh, that sucks. I've also made it through the DLC because I'm of the mindset that I want to save it for after I finish the main story. Okay, so she hasn't done the DLC or actually finished the main story. I guess you could say that I have a shiny ball syndrome and I keep getting distracted by side quests. That's pretty amazing. This character is different than the way I normally play, so that should be interesting. I tend to keep my special pretty even. That way I can grab different perks, and I never really map anything out. I'm also a bit of a hoarder and feel the need to pick up every piece of junk, weapon, and armor, etc. that I come across with a strength of 2, so I'm going to have to be more tactical in what I loot and I take. Yeah, that's true. With a low strength, you got to be more selective about what you have to carry. Let's see. Generally, I use Dogmeat, Codsworth, Nick, and Preston to carry my things. And by carry my things, I mean as companions, and haven't really delved into the romance aspect. I've always role-played a character that's hell-bent on avenging her spouse and finding her son. I'm excited to see how this plays out. Yeah, that is one thing that people have said before when getting this roundtable characters, like, how can you play the game and role-play and ignore the fact that you're having this romance here, this new romance you've been assigned, but you're ignoring the fact that your spouse that you just woke up, you still should be grieving your spouse. What are you doing with a new romance already? Yeah. All right. Great email, Sarah. Thank you so much for that. And welcome to the group. That's awesome. Thank you so much for rolling a character and hopping in 2 feet. Sweet. Always like having new people around.
Yep. Look forward to hearing her feedback.
Yeah. Let's see if we can pressure her into sending us some audio feedback.
Well, she promised.
Well, let's hold her feet to the fire. Go, Sarah. Do it. Let's check in with Jess. Or wait, Ray, did you want to get into Fallout 76 news before we do anything else, or do you want to get to that?
We can hit it at the end.
All right, Jess.
What's good, everybody? This is Jess, back again with some feedback for the Fallout Feed quest season. So I am doing Dallas this time. Now, I didn't give feedback last episode because I fell behind on quests. So I started to catch up and then spent most of last week working on labs and doing sciencey stuff. So I'm behind again. I'm cutting a whole part out. I actually just finished my feedback. It was about 13, 14 minutes, so I have to cut out a whole section. I talked a lot here about mods, but we're going to move on to the rest of it. I thought I need to pad it out, but apparently I really don't. I can talk. So my only comments on last week's quests, Confidence Man, when I did it this time, I realized I'm not really sure if Vadim was joking. I know he and Travis are friends, so he probably was, and that's just his way. But if Yefim hadn't reined him in, I don't know, he might have just wanted the problem to go away. He was on a roll. He seems very impulsive like that. The mission itself was pretty simple. We did it melee. I died once to Tower Tom because I was rushing in like a fool, and he was tougher than I remembered. But generally speaking, it went well. Travis picked up some cool gear en route like he does. The other thing is, I don't know why things didn't work out with Scarlet. We got back, and the next time I checked in on him, he's like, yeah, things didn't work out with Scarlet. Well, I mean, he'll do fine, but I don't quite get why they had to do that. Would have been cool if you had a little Diamond City romance. Okay, this week's quests. So, first, Rocket Shed. I'm in Sunshine Co-op a lot. That's my main settlement. So I go south from there. I came across an event. It was a funeral. Some settlers were having a funeral for their friend Blake, and they were each giving their testimony. And it was really pretty sad, really pretty touching. There's a priest there, and it seems like one of their group had died. And the last guy to talk, Marcus, he's very Bostonian, very gruff and commonwealthy. And at first, it sounds like he's grumbling, and then he kind of just breaks down and is like, why wasn't it me? It should have been me. I'm the jerk in the group. So I really like that scene. I couldn't really talk to them afterward, unfortunately, except for the usual, huh? What? Oh, hey. But then I moved on, crossed some water, fought some Mirelurks, and found a place with landmines galore. And Dallas isn't the cautious type, so we're also not a good shot. So we couldn't really hit them very well with that. So I just got real close and tried to disarm them. It did not go great, but I didn't die. So, yay for small victories. And finally, we get to the Rocket Shed. So I'm excited. I saw Josh's little video on it, and I'd never been here before. Or actually, I think I had, but I hadn't realized it could blow off the rockets. So this was whole new territory. Very exciting. Walking in, I looked around and I saw there was a pipe pistol in the bookcase on the left and some ammo over on the right. So you can get stuff to shoot there. You don't have to use your hammer and blow it all up. Also, I looked over and I saw some bourbon and some whiskey. So I decided we're going to celebrate fireworks and brews. Dallas drinks her bourbon, decreases her already phenomenal intelligence, and starts shooting. The first 3 blow up. I hit them with the 10 millimeter and they just explodiate all over me. So I'm like, did I mess it up? What am I going to have to do? Do I have to reload? And then I realized that I can load the ones on the side. See, I hadn't thought of this before. Whole new territory. I'm a little more intelligent than Dallas, I swear. So I reload and the next 2 blow up too. And I'm wondering what I did wrong. And I realized I could try using the pipe pistol I found. So I try that and finally it works. So excited. And right then battle music starts. And I say, what's going on? I look over the edge and there is Dogmeat fighting a Deathclaw. I think the explosions called him. Maybe one of the ones that hit the ground. I don't know what's going on. So I start plinking at the Deathclaw. Piper's running around, piping out like she does. And after a bit, Dogmeat dies. Surprise, surprise. And the Deathclaw starts to run off. Now Piper's chasing. I'm like, Piper, come back here. Stop chasing him. I want the Deathclaw to leave. I can't handle a Deathclaw. Well, eventually he's a little bit far away and she does come back. So yay. Once again, party time. Drink some more bourbon. And I got 2 really good ones off in the air. I'm yelling. My husband says, what happened? Did you kill the Deathclaw? He's in the other room. And I say, no, I did not, but I am doing fireworks and it is awesome. Well, Deathclaw doesn't like that much. Apparently he's against patriotic displays of badassery. So he comes back and I realize he's a legendary Deathclaw. I'm not fighting in VATS because I want to get a lot of shots off without having to worry about AP. Shooting is not my thing, so my percentage is low, and I've got a great angle up here from the rocket shed. So we keep plinking away. He does his legendary regeneration. We get him back down close to half. Dogmeat is dead. Piper is struggling, but he runs away again. So I'm not sure what he has against Dogmeat, but he doesn't seem to like him. Once he goes down, it gets better. So I shoot off a few more tanks, and it is awesome. Having so much fun. And I pretty much decide I'm queen of the world now. I mean, look at me. Look at what I'm doing. So I'm going to fight the Deathclaw. Long story short, I actually leave the shed, follow him towards the lake, get his attention, and he's charging. I'm shooting for the head. I'm hoping my companions distract him. And there's a bit of dying. There's a bit of scariness. But ultimately, he goes down. Killed my second Deathclaw if you count Conquered, but that was power armor, miniguns, and hiding in a building. So I felt pretty cool about this. And we hit level 25, and I got a legendary leather leg. Try saying that one 3 times fast. So that was great. About that time, the bourbon wore off, and I'm like, well, that was fun. I think I've gone a little bit long. All I'll say is I'm still using Vans. Damn, Dallas back again with the green Vans. I thought it was dumb at first, but I'm glad that I had to take the perk because even though it's not useful in a field and it doesn't stick around long, if you come to a crossroads or something like that, it's a great way to not have to pull up the map. You can just hold down the Vans, quickly hit B to get out, and you know which road to take. So that part's cool. Also on the way to Bunker Hill, I met the Scribe. Never met him before. He's one of the level 4, tier 4 armor people. So I convinced him to come back to my settlement. So I'll have him eventually when I can do level 4, but my perks aren't that high yet. In Bunker Hill, I did manage to get the Black Ops combat armor pieces. I also took the tour when I got to Bunker Hill. Yeah, I know it's a scam, but I really needed to know where the bathroom was. Totally worth the 10 caps. Let me tell you, I was crossing my legs. Started the real quests for Bunker Hill we're supposed to do, but haven't done them yet. I've done them before, and those are harder than you think. You know, they're actually kind of there's a lot of things that'll explode all over you, if I remember correctly. So I'll do that soon. And I haven't done the USS Constitution. That's probably my favorite quest in the game, to be honest. But with Dallas's intelligence, I'm going to have to fetch every little thing Ironside tells me to. I'll be scrubbing the decks and keel hauling the keelsters or something. So thanks all for listening to my ramble, and I'll see you in the wasteland. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jess. Wow. Another great piece of feedback. Really, really nice. I did not get that Deathclaw summoned, Ray. Did you notice that a possibility there?
Yeah, he's just down the ravine. There's a little cliff, and he's holed up in there.
Can you actually hit him and do any damage with the tanks?
No. Yeah, the tanks never get to the ground.
They just blow up in the air.
Yeah.
Nice. So I'm thinking with the tanks, is it a damage threshold thing? Is it because my hammer was doing way too much damage and you need something as low as like a pipe pistol? Or is it that the hammer that I'm using has a slight area of effect that's making the whole thing blow up because I'm not precisely hitting the nozzle?
Yeah, you got to hit it in the nozzle to.
Okay. Pipe pistol's there. I didn't know. Maybe because tank blew up in my face and it knocked the pipe pistol under something. I don't know. I looked around. I didn't see a gun. Maybe mine got moved around. But that's awesome to know that there is one there. I'll try to keep that in mind for next time. I'm doing a melee character and doing that quest. Gosh, who knows when that'll be? The legendary leather leg, Lucy, blah blah blah. I don't know. What's that tongue twister? The legendary leather leg. Vans, no map. That's a great point. I never thought about that. She likes using the Vans. Of course, the second level of Vans is actually super useful. +2 perception is, especially if you're doing, the VATS character. That's incredible. She does not like her landmines, Ray. I heard her mention them numerous times in there.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly helps if you have, sneak, because you get to the third level there and you won't set off the landmines.
She also mentioned you could load the side tanks that were set up on the wall of the shed. I don't know if I mentioned that before.
Yeah, so the only trick to that is you want to line up on the tank, just like it's going to go into the rack. So you stand at the end by the nozzle and pick it up, and then it'll just go right onto the rack. Makes it a lot easier.
Nice.
And I was able to launch them with the Chinese officer's sword.
Oh, sweet.
So I mean, as long as you just hit it on that nozzle, you can do it with a melee weapon.
A weapon of precision.
Yep.
The last thing, she found the scribe. This is something those of us like me who always fast travel, who do not hoof it on the road very often. I don't run into these people, but I need to start doing it because I always want to collect all the level 4 vendors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, you can still run into them fast traveling, but it's just less likely.
Yeah. There's Jean who sells dogs. There's the lady at the radio station who sells clothing. But Jean, you can't recruit to your settlement. Never mind. He's not one of these settled.
Right. He's just one of the random people you meet.
Gosh, I can't remember. There's isn't the Vault Tech salesman one of them?
Yep. At Hotel Rexford.
Yeah. Oh, there's a few others. I always forget them offhand, but I always want to run into those guys. Good stuff. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jess. I love your feedback. It's really awesome. It's really, really good. Thanks for sending it in. So let's proceed on and check in with Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello, everyone. This is Rebecca with an update on Flash. After putting her foot in it with Piper last time, she went back to 10 Pines Bluff and picked Kate up instead. Kate is now wearing a clean black suit and black bowler hat instead of that horrible corset. Flash has decided to try using some sharp knuckles instead of the furious power fist. She decided now's the time to find Virgil. On their way there, they bumped into a man called Gene, who very reluctantly sold them a dog, which Flash sent back to 10 Pines Bluff. Long story short, they found Virgil, killed a Corsair, had the Corsair chip analysed, got into the Institute, found Sean, joined the Institute, cleared Libertalia, and did the Battle of Bunker Hill. After all that, they needed a rest, so they went back to 10 Pines Bluff. She saw Piper and asked her if everything was okay between them. Piper smiled and said that it was. Flash was pleased to see that the junkyard dog had arrived safely and looked happy. There was a radio tuned to Diamond City, and Flash noticed that Travis sounded completely different. He sounded really calm and confident. She thought it would be nice to go and visit him, so she and Piper headed off to Diamond City. Travis told them that he was very grateful for their help and that he now has fewer complaints about his radio station, although he said it didn't work out with Scarlet. As they were leaving, Piper told Flash that she needed to talk. It seemed that she'd been thinking about what Flash had said before, and that if she's still interested, Piper would like to give a relationship a go, so they're now a couple. The next day, Flash took Kate to Bunker Hill to check that everyone there was okay. While they were there, Deb told them about the northern road that passes through a military training yard which is swarming with ghouls who are scaring away caravans and customers. She said she'd pay Flash to clear it out, so they went to the training yard. They checked all around the outside, killing a number of ghouls and taking out some turrets. There was a locked armory, but neither of them could pick the lock. Inside, they killed a number of ghouls before finding the body of Knight Astlin, who had sent out a distress pulsar to her team, although it appears she knew she wasn't going to survive. Upstairs, the floor had collapsed in places, so it was quite dangerous. They found a password in a drawer, which opened a security door, and they went through to the barracks, where they lured some ghouls down the stairs and killed them with Molotov cocktails. Upstairs were more collapsed floors, and through one of them they could see a glowing ghoul. A few Molotov cocktails later, and the place was cleared. Flash suddenly realized that even though everything was dead, she was still throwing the Molotov cocktails, and she had a moment of uncomfortable reflection when she realized she was getting great pleasure from watching everything burn. On the way back to Bunker Hill, Kate commented on a strange sight, a ship sitting on the top of a building. While they were investigating, they were approached by a Mr. Handy lookout who appeared to have access to pre-war records and quoted Flash's driving license number and occupation. He sent them to the bridge to speak to the captain, Ironsides, who was a sentry bot. He said that he wanted them to help him repair his ship so that he could continue the war against communist China. The first thing he needed was a guidance chip, which had been stolen by scavengers. Flash approached the scavengers and spoke to Mandy Stiles, who seemed to be in charge. Mandy wanted them to join forces with her and loot the ship. Flash agreed but had no intention of doing this. She looted their building and took the guidance chip back to the ship. She was then asked to go and find a Poseidon radar transmitter, so they headed back out. They stopped off at Bunker Hill to tell Deb that the training yard was clear, and Kessler approached them and asked them to find Zella's army, who were holed up in a prep school and have kidnapped some traders. First, they went to the Poseidon energy turbine and found the transmitter in a trunk, which they took back to the ship. Then they were asked to find turbo pump bearings. They went to General Atomics factory and found the turbo pump bearings, and Flash also completed a number of tests intended for robot nannies. They went back and she installed the pump. She pulled a switch and the ship took off, but just crashed into another building. They started heading towards the new location of the ship and ran into Mandy Stiles again. Flash thought that she was going to be annoyed that they'd betrayed her, but instead she just stared at her and didn't say a word. When they reached the ship, Ironsides seemed very pleased, and she heard him say that in a mere century they will take to the ocean. He told Flash that the mission had been a glorious success and that his circuits were trembling with excitement. With those slightly creepy words ringing in their ears, they headed off to East Boston Prep School. They worked their way through the raiders and noticed that each of them was carrying a contract written in blood, swearing their lives to the judge and his jury. They found Judge Zeller on the top floor, and Flash killed him using the sharp knuckles and then freed all of the survivors. They started heading back to 10 Pines Bluff again. On their way, they came across a group of people having a funeral for their friend Blake. Flash stood with them in respectful silence while they talked about their friend. She gestured to Kate to just stay where she was, because she was worried that she'd do something embarrassing, like make a crude remark or stand on the grave. However, of course, Flash's efforts were in vain, because Kate loudly exclaimed, "Leaving me behind, are you? Well, it's your funeral." Couldn't really have been more inappropriate. Flash apologized to the people and told Kate that they just needed to go. That's all for this time. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the wasteland.
Leaving me behind, are you? It's your funeral. That's inappropriate, Ray.
Totally.
Inappropriate. Not good.
That's Kate.
Yeah. Oh, I like Kate. She's fun. That's great. Rebecca, thank you so much for the feedback. Ray, why didn't it work out between Travis and Scarlett?
I don't know. Maybe it took too many lines of dialogue and they were running short on time.
That seemed like such a reward for confident Travis, right? Like, confident guy should get the lady.
True.
It just seems like such a logical end to that. I found that struck me strange that he and Scarlett didn't hook up. I remember going back and checking in with her and asking, like, trying to figure out if there was a line of dialogue about it or anything, and I didn't really find much information past that, other than they said it didn't work out. So weird. I like Piper and Flash hanging out though.
Yep.
Romantic. Fighting ghouls with Molotovs though, I think that's a little dangerous. I would just whip them right in my face. I'd burn myself most of the time.
Yeah, and that still leaves them a little too mobile.
So now you have a flaming ghoul charging at you, swiping at your face. Oh God. You've just made a bad situation worse, I think.
A flaming glowing one.
Oh my God. Good. It's a thing of nightmares. The flaming glowing one. Awesome, Rebecca. Thank you so much for including us in your adventures. Always much appreciated. And please keep up the great work. That's great.
Yeah, and pretending like you're going to side with the scavengers is a an easy way to get the guidance chip that they stole.
Okay, so
because if you tell them that you're going to join their side, then you can take that guidance chip,
take an immediate
without stealing it.
Nice. I was about to ask. She said she looted and took the chip, but like I was like, wasn't everything marked stolen and stuff? No, but she had access to the chip because she lied and said that she was going to work for them.
Yeah, and then you don't actually do anything with them again until you get the pump bearing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the piece that they that they damage to make the engines blow up. So
nice.
So you have plenty of time, and you just skip going back to them after you pick up that the bearings, and it's all good. You're all on the robot side.
Save you a couple trips up and down,
and it plays out just as if you had just sided with the robots the whole time.
Wow, nice. Well, that's great, Rebecca. Thank you for bringing that up. Sweet, good point. Learn something new every day. So let's check in with Josh, and he's sorry to laugh at you here, Josh, but Josh has a little bit of bad news, Ray.
Uh-oh.
It's not really bad. Just that he has to go back to work now. He's finally been cleared and all that from his so I guess it is good news. He's healed enough and well enough to be working again, but
yeah. Damn,
Josh, that stinks. You gotta go back to work?
I don't know. After a while, it's kind of nice to go back to work.
Yeah. After you probably get stir crazy being home. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, Josh, let's see what's going on.
Hi, this is Josh from Idaho with Batty's feedback for another set of quests. My follower was Nick, so I've been going around the wasteland with him. I ended up getting his quest to get all the Eddie Winter tapes. Went ahead and found all those and tracked him down. And then we killed Eddie Winter. Eddie was someone who had killed Nick Valentine, the human, Nick Valentine's girlfriend back in the day. And so Nick wanted revenge for it. So after that, he gave me the Close to Metal perk, which gives me 1 extra guess on terminals when I'm hacking them, and 50% faster terminal cooldown if I get locked out. So that's been helpful. Let's see, Rocket Shed. I'd never been to the Rocket Shed before, but thought it was pretty cool. I did shoot off all 3 rockets that were set up. I was disappointed you couldn't set up anymore to do it anymore, but the last one ended up being a dud. But other than that, it was pretty cool. Let's see, traffic jam. So I was in Bunker Hill. I believe Deb had me clear out the National Guard training yard, which I used Adam's judgment for that. So it was pretty easy to clear out the ghouls, and got some caps for my effort and some experience. After that, Kessler sent me to prep school, which I used Adam's judgment again and just kind of tore through the raiders. It was pretty much every single raider was a one hit. So I think I had mentioned last time that I filled in the perk chart with all my assigned perks that I had to take. And then the rest I was kind of just filling in as things came up. One of the things that I've picked up is big leagues since I was using Adam's judgment. I've also done a little bit of blacksmith and science to improve like my power armor or like laser rifles, that kind of stuff. And the blacksmith helped me. I think that helped me with some more damage or heating damage or something like that on Adam's judgment. So I've been liking that because I've found a few instances where I kind of needed a specific thing at a specific time, and so it was nice to be able to just use that. Like I needed or I wanted to do I've done the local leader, so I wanted to put up some like shops and stuff like that. I've never actually done that before. That's been really nice to have a shop in the settlement. And I've really been going around a lot with setting up the different settlements all across. I've got all my settlements linked up with provisioners so that I can use all my supplies at any of them. So that's been really helpful to maintain and help build up. I've also been putting a lot of the Minuteman artillery at the settlements as well. So I have yet to use it somewhere, but I don't know. I think that'll be pretty cool to see how many I can, how close I am to each one or whatever when I do. So let's see. One of the things when I was doing some work on my Vault 88 that I thought was funny, I was having Clem ride the exercise bike, and he ended up blowing the generator, and then I had to talk to him, but he was blown up on top of the trailer that's right in the main part of Vault 88, that trailer, yeah. And so I ended up having to go and build stairs so that I could get up there, so I could actually go talk to him and then have him get down from there. So I just thought that was kind of a funny thing that had happened. Let's see. So USS Constitution, that's always a fun one. I enjoy that. I did that again. I've always sided with the robots, never sided with the scavengers. I fired the cannons. That was pretty neat. Let's see. I ended up replacing the cables with the new ones. I then got the guidance chip. The scavengers wouldn't turn it over, so I stole it and then had to kill them all. Went to Poseidon to get the radar transmitter, and then had to go back to Corvega to get the turbo pump bearings. The maiden voyage was not quite successful. Located the ship again, and the captain promoted me to lieutenant and gave me the captain's quarter along with the lieutenant's hat with a +1 charisma. Batty was kind of hoping that big, huge lieutenant's hat would take away from his big old ears, but people are still noticing and calling him Batty. But let's see, that's all I've got for now. We'll see y'all in the wasteland.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Josh. And again, sorry your kidney vacation is over, buddy. It's Too bad. Awesome. Setting up the Minutemen artillery is one of my favorite things to do in the game, and he hasn't really shot any of them off. Ray, do you like to play with the artillery?
I've only used them the one time. I've built them a few times, but most of the time they're too far away.
Well, if you get all of the settlement, then sometimes you can have 4 or 5 different settlements launching those at the same time.
Mm.
They each launch like 5, so if you have like 4 or 5 different, you can get like 20 shells on one location if you're lucky. You know what I mean? But my absolute favorite, is going to Sunshine Tidings and setting one up there off the southern end of the settlement, and then sneaking down and killing is it gunners or raiders at that overpass? Probably raiders.
No, it's gunners.
Is it gunners?
Yeah.
You go down there. There's a lookout down there by the elevator that goes up. You kill that guy as silently as possible, and if they don't know you're there, they don't sense you there, you can just set off those artillery grenades underneath the overpass, and then book it back up to the settlement, and then just like watch it, just all these bombs drop. And if you put them right under the settlement, they will fall on top of the settlement and take out everything on top of the overpass.
Interesting. Yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah. I really like doing that. And there has been times when it's come in super useful, like at lower levels, if you can't get into, say, like, what's Dunwich boards is always tough for me to get into at lower levels. Just there's a ton of high, power armor wearing raiders and stuff to get in there. If you have any of the settlements nearby, you can get a lot of help clearing out those guys. And there's a super mutant settlement not too far from there as well that I always have really hard time at lower levels. I think 10 Pines maybe sends you there to clear out super mutants or something. But I always find it super useful if I can get the artillery somewhere in the area to help with that kind of stuff. I always love using that, Josh. Good luck using that. Vault 88, Clyde. What did I say, Clyde? Clem doing the cycle got blasted up on top of the
Poor Clem.
I love that. Poor Clem. He takes it, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
That's really funny. His at least his mom gave him food or whatever. But thank you, Josh, for doing the right thing and building some stairs to get down. That's nice. You probably have to if you want to keep proceeding with the Vault 88 storyline. Oh, and firing cannons. I don't know if I mentioned that last week, but that is fun to do when you're up on top of the ship in the USS Constitution quest.
Oh yeah,
you're up there. You can launch those cannons off to the side. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. Oh, and Steve mentioned earlier, I don't know if we brought it up, the iBot pods.
Oh yeah, those.
That is ingenious, because with the broadsider, the one thing I don't ever use it for is because, now I have 6 cannonballs, big fucking whoop-de-doo. I can launch this thing, But Steve, you're brilliant, dude. You send out your iBot pods from your settlement, from multiple different settlements, set up iBot pods and have them all go get cannonballs. It'd be set up the whole game. You can have a ton of That's really smart idea.
Yep.
I don't think of stuff like that. That's really good, Steve. Good thought. So that's great. Fire them cannons, Josh. Good one. Let's go ahead and check on. Let's see, we got 2 more. We got go ahead and check in with Leon. Hi, Leon.
G'day, this is Leon from Texas. This is my feedback for the Fallout Feeds Roundtable for the location Rocket Shed and the quest Traffic Jam, Prep School, and Last Voyage of the USS Constitution. So for Rocket Shed, all I can really say about that one is my son really liked watching me shoot the tips of the gas tanks off and letting them go across the valley and explode. So much so that whenever he's watching me play Fallout 4, I now have standing orders that I must shoot all tanks, so like oxygen tanks and gas tanks. So that was pretty cute. Now then, for Traffic Jam, this is one of the earliest times I've ever picked up Traffic Jam. Usually I pick it up a lot later, but I did it pretty early, and I went ahead and picked up the Brotherhood of Steel quests from Paladin Dance that you look for the Lost Patrol. So both of those quests take you to the National Guard training yard. So I was able to do both those quests. I then continued on and finished the Lost Patrol quest and talked to the Paladin, I think Brandis is his name. And one of the reasons why I went ahead and finished is I've never actually done the Lost Patrol before the Pridwin showed up. So I wanted to see if Brandis would actually show up at the Cambridge police station. He doesn't. He waits till the Pridwin before you see him again. Excuse me. So that was interesting. Prep school, no big deal. Fun reading the terminals, but otherwise, kill all the raiders. Nothing real special there. Last voyage of the USS Constitution. Really like this quest. Now, the last time I did this quest for the last round table, I actually sided with the raiders, the scavengers, and I won't ever do that again. So this time I sided with the robots, Ironsides. And so when he first sent me to find the navigation ship, the raiders, you're like, well, if you're not going to help us, screw you. So I was like, okay. And I just went into VATS and blew the lady's head off, and then turned, and with my second shot, I killed the guy that was standing there, and I used my crit that I had full up. So I took both of them out and pow, red headshots in both. So that was fun, and then I killed the rest of them. Ironsides was a little disappointed that I had to kill him, but, oh well, he'll get over it. I then proceeded to finish the quest. Interestingly enough, this is actually the first time that this quest has sent me to any place other than Corvega. It sent me to Fort Hagen, and so that was interesting. It's the first time it hasn't sent me to Corvega. Maybe it's because I haven't gone to Ten Pines Bluff yet. I'm ignoring the Minutemen for this playthrough, so I still never even talked to Ten Pines Bluff. So I don't know if maybe that's a reason or not, but it sent me somewhere new, so that was kind of cool. I then followed up to find the new resting place of the Constitution, and took the elevator up and talked to Ironsides and got the hat. So now I'm currently wearing the lieutenant's hat, which is pretty cool. Overall, pretty interesting trip. I am using the Heather Cassidy mod, and so I have actually been working on the main storyline up through defeating Kellogg and the Pridwin showing up. And because that's part of her storyline. So I got that, and then I did a little bit more with her, and then I effectively finished her storyline. She's now my romance, and we're journeying together, which is pretty cool. She's got a few interesting comments with the different companions. I've journeyed some with Piper, Nick, Kate, and right now, and a little bit with Dogmeat, and a little bit with Codsworth, but she didn't really have any interaction with him that I noticed, so I may have to go back and journey with him a little bit more. Currently, the Pridwins showed up. I'm now doing the Brotherhood of Steel stuff. I have not went to Fort Strong yet. Mostly I just geared up Paladin Dance and did some of Heather's stuff. But she has a couple of interactions with him that's already made me laugh at least once. For Paladin Dance, I have the, I think it's the Field Synth helmet. I can't remember if that's the right one, but it's the full facial synth helmet. So he's got his big power armor, and then he's got the face mask, so he looks kind of like a robot himself. Kind of prophetic, if you think about it. Overall, that's about it for Davis's Journeys in the Commonwealth at this time, and I'll see you in the Wasteland.
Awesome, Leon. Good day, bud. I'll always love hearing from Leon. We're gonna try to get Leon back on the show at some point. I don't know why we always had trouble getting Hangouts to work with him, but I always love having Leon on. He's so knowledgeable about everything.
Yep. Yeah, we'll get it figured out.
Letting your son watch Fallout 4, Leon? Is that responsible?
Well, certain parts. I mean, what's not to love about blowing up the propane tanks?
I play Mario Kart with Mo. I feel weird about playing Fallout 4 in front of him still, though. But I mean, he's 3. It's a little.
Yeah, it depends on what you're doing. I mean, if you get around a raider settlement, there's going to be, some stuff you don't want your kid to hear. But it's.
He's so into Legos that he'd love to watch me do settlement building, though. I bet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's some innocuous stuff that you can do, and good interactions with people, and that type of thing.
Like, here, Mo, let's switch it over to Uncle Jerem's Twitch stream here. Oh, look, he's still building. Watch Uncle Jerem build for hours and hours and hours. Here you go. No, he'd probably be into that. Leon always gets sent to Corvega. He thinks it has something to do with 10 Pines Bluff. Thoughts on that?
I believe it's a random. So there's 3 places you can get sent to get the turbo pump bearings. There's Corvega, there's Fort Hagen, and the General Atomics Factory. And I'm fairly certain it's completely random.
What do we go to Poseidon for? Don't we have to go to Poseidon for something in this quest too?
Yeah, that's for the radar transmitter.
Nice. Right on. And I've actually heard Leon mention it, and I was thinking it, and then I saw Jess mention it. Did we put Bunker Hill quests too early in the season? Leon mentioned he probably wouldn't be here yet. Jess said, "Oh yeah, I think that I usually wouldn't be here to Bunker Hill with a character at this level yet either." Is Bunker Hill a level 30 plus, level 40 plus location generally?
I'm not typically from for when I play.
Interesting.
Yeah, I usually I make the run down, go to Diamond City, go to the library, go to Good Neighbor, and then head over to Bunker Hill. And if you start off doing the railroad quest, you go to Bunker Hill right away. So depending on how long it takes you to follow the Freedom Trail, because as soon as you go to Diamond City,
that battle,
and you go back to go towards Nick's place, you've got the 2 guys, working on the wall talking about the railroad, and so that kicks off the follow the Freedom Trail. So I think you can still hit it pretty early.
Interesting. To be honest, it is not a place I frequent or use as a settlement very often, or definitely have never been assigned there, never built there myself. But
yeah, I've never taken it as a settlement.
But now that there's that trade caravan special benefit thing, that's probably something I will start doing. You know what I mean? Especially if you're not doing local leader too. I just think that's really useful to have access to a wide variety of stuff without being able to trade in between settlements is really nice. Have those vendors be your local leader too and provide stuff to, especially with lots of caps, especially if you're doing the melee character and you don't need bullets. Sell that shit.
Oh yeah.
Sell it. Thank you, Leon. We need to get you on the show, buddy. Let's check in with Mark. Hi, Mark.
How the bloody hell's everyone doing? It's Mark with the W. I could explain it, but I've got a lot of notes to get through, so we're going to crack into it. So first things first, I'll start out with the old traffic jam. We went over to Bunker Hill, and of course, Miss Willie big Miss Wilhelmina Langland. She's a night person. So when I found Deb eventually, it just kept on saying, "Oh, what you got to sell? What you got to sell? What you got to sell?" Turns out you cannot start this quest on the night time. It's only available during the day. So once I got over that small obstacle, got chatting to her, and she says you got to go to the National Guard training yard and take out a bunch of ghouls. So I went over there with Nick, and I tell you what, I've never felt more like a Rick Grimes simulator in all my life. But he set up a nice little choke point in the door there. Got me 44 Magnum, just headshot, headshot, headshot. It was just absolutely epic. So then there's the Brotherhood of Steel lady in there that was dead and picked up her distress signal, which triggered the Lost Patrol, which I won't be touching because I'm an Institute fangirl in this playthrough. And I noticed there was the and US Covert Ops magazine that was found that in the kitchen. And I went outside and tried to grab the power armor that was in the container and get into the little barracks sort of ammo station that's in there, but I couldn't pick the lock. So I went back and I got a robot, following Andrew's advice from older episodes, and made myself a nice lock bot. Ended up locking himself out, so I went back, made another one, went back to the training yard, tried again, and it got the same error message of just, oh, I can't do it. So I don't know if maybe it's if you try it once with one robot, you can't go back with another robot and try to re-pick the lock, as far as I'm aware. At least that's what it's telling me. So once I did that, headed back to the old Bunker Hill, and got a reward from Deb, begging us basically to spend my hard-earned money at her little shop there. So I just said, whatever, I'll carry on. And she sent me to go see I think is the mayor, Kessler. So she says she needs Judge Zeller and his gang over at East Boston Prep School and need them taken care of. And again, it was feeling very Walking Dead. Walking along, you come up to this school, and they've got purified water, everyone welcome, caravans welcome, come inside, head inside, and of course, the usual happens, and raiders attack you. And obviously, these raiders, everyone might have noticed, are a little bit different than usual, because they have the blood contract on every single one of them. With my blood, I do swear my life to the judge and his jury until the end, upon pain of torture and death. So these nasty lads, I decided they've got to go. So killed Zeller, killed his co, found astoundingly awesome tales upstairs somewhere, and a bunch of caravanners that were being held hostage. And now, just a quick little side note, Bethesda writers, you're either here or there. Like, come on. I mean, how hard would it be to put a little bit of dialogue in that says, are you okay? Or, hey, I'm here, or it's going to be all right, instead of you're talking to this person that's been held hostage and tortured for God knows long, and you just walk up and say, hi there. It breaks immersion a little bit. And as well as that, while I'm on the topic of writers, I think it was Flash was rejected by Piper last week or the week before. Well, I've been rejected by Piper this week, and to be perfectly honest, I don't blame her, because I've heard better pickup lines from the fresh fucking Prince of Bel-Air, and that was fairly misogynistic even for its time. So really, I wouldn't have fell in love with me if I was saying things like, can we only just be friends? Are you sure? But don't be so sleazy. I mean, come on. Anyway, went back to Bunker Hill, sorted all that out, and now you can build the trading posts, I think it's called, or something along those lines. So traders will stop in your settlements now, which makes life a bit easier. Then once I did that, headed over and did the good old USS Constitution. And apparently just being a US citizen means that you're part of the Congressional Army now. So we get escorted up, we get to go talk to Captain Ironsides, which is just, I love all those robots. They're absolutely bloody hilarious. And they're doing the usual, saying, we need help doing this, you got to fix the ship. And when the scavengers attack the ship, I love those fights absolutely so much, and doing it with big guns with missile launchers and flicking that circuit breaker, setting off the cannons, just is absolutely amazing. but you do have to be careful that the lookout or the navigator, a couple of them, they go out right up into the front, and if you shoot them and hit them, everyone will turn on you, and it's basically instant bloody death, especially when you're playing on survival. And the joys of cooking, I tell you what, if I didn't have that lead billy perk, I never would have knew all those times I could have done with those rad stag steaks. I was trailing all the way back with all my gear. But I had Codsworth whistles when I was doing that. When I went to go get the guidance chip, I had to reload a couple times because I tried doing it by saying, no, I'm with Ironsides, and Codsworth loved that. But then I couldn't get the guidance chip without stealing it, which he hated. So I decided I'll do the little role play. I'm an investigator, a military police lady, so she's just going to go undercover. And I said, yeah, I'll help you scavengers out. And Codsworth disliked it, but I figured that was better, having him dislike something and hate me stealing the chip rather than just taking the chip. I even tried killing them all, which he didn't like or dislike that, but then it was still marked as steal, and he hated it. So I just decided to go that way. And then you do all that stuff, install all of that, and then you end up going back to, I don't know if everyone's the same, but I had to go back to the Corvega assembly plant again and take all of them out, and I only had to do half the job because there was still dead bodies from when I had cleared it out for Preston earlier, like for the first Minutemen quests. So it was fairly easy and fairly quick, and went back and did that and did the last fight with them, missile launchers and everything, got the broadside out, which is just absolutely amazing. I don't know why I haven't gotten that before. And I've never actually went to where the ship crashes. So I decided to go over to where the ship crashes, and the legend, the man himself, Colin, calling in from Essex. You probably don't know me, but sir, I know you, and after I went to that ship, I sold that fucking hat as soon as I possibly could. And I would like to challenge everyone, because when I was at the rocket shed, I don't know if it's because I was really low level, but there was sweet fuck all there, just some booze and some ammo and a toilet. So Nick was sitting drinking and smoking while I was playing around, and I activated the radio tower over there. So I would like to challenge anyone, if you get time, activate that radio relay tower and go to Fiddler's Green Estates, find the holotapes there by Storytime Simon, because they're absolutely amazing, just so hilarious, the twist on it. And I challenge you, try and find the bunker with the distress signal in there without using the guide, because I, for the life of me, could not. And when I finally found it, it's the most deceiving little thing that you'll ever bloody see. So I hope to hear how everyone does. I'm glad I could got the time to call in. Sorry if it's a little bit long. I'm trying to rush through it as best I can. But basically, that's it for the weather. Back to you, Andrew.
Kiora. Mark with a W. Don't explain that W ever, dude. Okay, the last thing he was just talking about here, there is that, it's like a trailer park, right? And you find these holotapes, and there's a story. There's a really weird story. God, I'm blanking. It has something to do with
the squirrel.
Has something to do with a squirrel or squirrel stew or something, right? Do you remember what it is, Ray?
It's been a long time since I did it, but basically it's like a children's bedtime story that's, supposed to scare them into being good kids. Yeah, about the little squirrel that tries to make friends with the wrong people and ends up paying for it in the end.
Brilliant. And did he say it directly leads into going some? I didn't even actually gather his challenge here at the end. What was it? To listen to the holotapes and then go to where? He said it was some confusing place that he couldn't figure out without a guide. What was he mentioning there?
So if you raise the nearby relay tower, OBB 915.
Oh yeah.
One of the radios stations that you pick up now that you've got that relay tower going, is a distress signal.
Distress call. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, so you have to find where he's at, and it's a very well concealed entrance.
Oh, okay. Well, challenge to everyone in the community. Go do it. Let's see screen caps of everybody. Post them on Twitter and Facebook group. Mark brings up a good point. The stupid sexist writers and their flirtation is really super fucking sexist, right?
There's quite a bit of that. Yep.
Yeah. They could have done a little bit more of put a little more behind that, the flirtation, the dialogue there. Be sure not to kill the robots up there, Mark. Good point. They don't like that and they go crazy. I had to reload. I love shooting those cannons. He shot off the cannons. We talked about the cannons there. The blood contracts from the Raiders.
Yeah. Yeah, that is grim. So yeah, Judge Zeller.
Yeah, his name. Zeller. And he mentioned also another writer's flaw here. When you're rescuing these poor settlers who have been tortured and kept in these cells, these people who need some sort of comfort or something, just a little bit of concern, maybe. It'd be nice instead of like, hey, what's up? You cool? All right, later. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Get out. All right, let's go.
I don't know how much longer I could have lasted in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely not their most robust writing.
But Jesus, we have to cut them a little bit of slack. The world is slightly large.
Yeah, a little bit.
How many lines of dialogue did they record for it? We gotta appreciate that at least, right?
Oh yeah,
that's a good point. I had to look up Rick Grimes. Did you get his Rick Grimes reference?
No,
I did either. That's a Walking Dead thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
that's the sheriff who evidently shoots zombies in the head or something. Start that quest during daytime over there at Bunker Hill. That's the second person who mentioned that. I don't remember who did. Josh or maybe Leon or someone mentioned that.
Yeah, and that's the only time I've ever seen Deb at her shop. So I don't think I've ever tried to talk to her at night.
Oh, yeah, nice. That's great, Mark. Thank you so much for your really awesome feedback. Ray, did you have any other thoughts on our feedback for the evening?
No, just another batch of really awesome feedback.
Really good job, guys. I'd just like to do a shout out to our good friend Adam Plude. Completed another phase of his treatment. And congratulations on that. But now he has to start a new phase of another part of treatment. So hopefully that goes as swimmingly as the rest of your treatment has gone so far, buddy. We're all behind you. And let us know if you need anything. We also would like to encourage everyone to keep up with the Carries Fund flash mob that we did on Twitter the last couple of days. We got 1,000 pounds generated from that little stunt. So good on you guys. We let's see if we can keep it circulating just a few more days. See if we can get Bethesda to get behind this and give us a little help for Carries Fund. Ray, did we have some Fallout 76 news? We had a big special event, QuakeCon last weekend, right?
Yeah, and there was about an hour and a half panel. Just talking about some stuff, clarifying a few things. So it's all starting to take shape now.
Did we learn anything? Well, I watched it too. My grand thought of the whole thing was I don't think we learned specifically anything brand new, but they expanded on stuff that we had already knew about, but we were sort of throwing out ideas that could possibly be correct or not incorrect, but they sort of answered some of our questions, right? Did you find anything like brands like, oh my god, shockingly new in the presentation?
So probably the only thing that I caught that I hadn't noticed before was that it looks like they didn't talk about it specifically, but I saw it on one of the perk cards that they showed. Is that weapon condition is going to be an issue in the game?
Oh, okay. So that'll be like New Vegas where we got to repair a weapon.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Perk cards. We knew they existed. Do we know a little bit more about how those are going to work?
So I think so. So, at the start of the game, every stat will have a 1. And every time you level up, you'll get to add 1 point to the special of your choice. And that will determine how many cards you can play on that special. And so that'll be your perks, will be these cards. So so there will be a certain amount of character building that'll go into this, because you'll have to decide, do I want a high charisma character or high intelligence character? And so you'll start putting your points in there and then try to collect as many cards for that perk as you can.
Now, first off here, initially, as a computer guy, what is going to happen to our character generator? How's that going to function with how this character creation and perk card thing is going to work? How are we going to work that? What do you think?
That's going to be a challenge, because there's really nothing set. You don't know what perk cards you're going to get.
Yeah.
And
aim for certain ones. Can you trade perk cards between people in your group?
So it sounds like somebody in your group can play one of their cards on your character, or I don't know if it's a swap or what, but they did say that you could take cards from your deck and give those perks to somebody on your team.
And one of the perks of charisma, and charisma's tricky because there are no NPCs in this game, and that's basically what charisma did in Fallout 4, was manipulate NPCs, right?
Right, for the most part.
So what is charisma going to do in this game? There are no NPCs. So now you can manipulate the people in your group, though, right? If you have more benefits and more traits, more perks or whatever, you can...
Well, and also other people that you run into.
Nice.
So, because they did definitely mention that, if you're playing by yourself, then you won't care about charisma. But if you're playing, with other people or interacting with people, then charisma is going to be good.
Yeah. All right. What else we got?
So along with the perk cards that you get every time you level up, there's also going to be every other level.
Oh yeah.
You're going to get a pack of random cards.
It's kind of like New Vegas, where every other level you had to do a trait or a something or other, right?
Yeah. So it'll add some random cards to your deck.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see more on the mutations.
Mm-hmm. And that's another thing that's sort of like similar to New Vegas, is the traits in New Vegas, where like they had a perk and a benefit and something bad. You know what I mean? They could be like plus 20% accuracy, but you shoot 20% slower. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Those mutations seem like they're going to have a cool benefit and a bad side as well.
Right.
That'll be fun. And how does that happen? Do we know? How do you get mutated? Is it when someone drops a nuke on your...
Generally, your exposure to radiation.
Yeah. And camps. Do we know more about the building stuff?
So for the building, they talked about how you'll be everything that you build in your settlement, you'll be able to blueprint. And
yes.
Then if something happens, or if you pick up your camp and move somewhere else, instead of having to rebuild everything in your settlement, you've got these blueprints, and you'll be able to activate them, and everything will rebuild in the new location. Or if something happens and your stuff gets destroyed, you can rebuild from your blueprints.
Now, I wonder if that means I've collected all this junk, and we built this nice settlement. Oh, great. We got a snapshot of our blueprint here. Oh, crap. Someone dropped a nuke on us and we're destroyed. We have the blueprint so that we can build them. We can slap this settlement back down immediately because we have this blueprint. Oh, crap. I didn't collect enough copper. Do I have to go and collect that copper again, or can I just build that immediately?
So it sounds like if you built it once, you can rebuild it again.
You just drop it right in. You don't have to like go earn the stuff again or anything. Okay, good.
Right.
Awesome.
And so from the sound, from what they were talking about, it sounds like junk is probably going to be one of the most important things in the game.
Valuable. Yeah. You're gonna have to create your team, and there's gonna be a mule. Basically, one of your guys is gonna be the building / junk specialist. They kind of made it seem from the presentation I gathered. Yeah.
Yep. They talked a little bit about how VATS is going to work.
Okay. Yeah.
So instead of bringing up VATS and then going through and deciding if you're going to do a headshot, an arm, a leg, whatever, it'll be more like a melee hit where it just targets the whole body, and you take your shot that way, because the game isn't going to stop when you go into VATS. It isn't even going to slow down. It's going to still be going. So it needs to be quick.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can choose which order of the people around you that you want to shoot. So they talked about what they're doing about griefing and player versus player shooting. So evidently you're going to be able to, if you come up to somebody and you want to fight them, you can just kind of poke them. And if they don't want to fight you, they can just not engage. If you keep poking them, they continue to decide whether they want to engage or not. And if they do, then whoever wins, gets the XP and the junk.
Mm-hmm. How about caps? Caps exchange there too? Do you get to take their caps or anything?
It did not sound like you do.
Interesting.
Now, if you just straight up murder somebody,
proceed with griefing here. This is where it gets good. This is where it gets good. I like this.
Then you have a bounty on your head, and everybody in the game sees that you have a bounty on your head. And if you continue to go around killing people, your bounty gets bigger and bigger, and there's more and more incentive for people to come get you. Now, if you go into sneak, then you disappear from the map unless you have a bounty. If you have a bounty, even if you go into sneak, people can still see where you're at. And so there's basically no hiding for murderers. And if somebody kills you to collect the bounty, that bounty payment comes out of your caps. And, not just, the random Fallout bank. So, you have to, you have to really be committed and really good to be able to avoid all these people coming after you, trying to take you out and, collect the bounty from you. So it'll be interesting to see. But so if you do, if you're in a fight, you don't lose anything except for your junk. But by the sounds of things, junk will be the most important thing in the game. So it should be interesting, but you'll be able to, you can hide, you can fast travel, there's things you can do, to get away from somebody if they're just constantly hassling you.
That's interesting that you go into sneak mode and then you disappear. Your character marker disappears off of everybody else's Pip-Boy.
Yeah.
But if you stand up, then everyone knows where you are. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris was nice enough to also report in, and he reports back on a lot of the stuff. Yeah, VATS is a thing, fast travel. You'll be able to fast travel, but it costs what, caps or XP or something. What was it, Ray?
I don't remember hearing that.
No, I thought they said there was a cost to fast travel. Radiation causes mutations. Yep. Multiplayer will include voice chat, which you can toggle on and off. There's also a setting that allows your bullets to not start fights, aka no friendly fire, essentially. That'll be nice. I'll probably turn that on. I'm going to hate fighting people. One thing that we need to discuss, Ray, is how we're going to start organizing getting people together to play. Are we going to have like a PS4 group on something and a Xbox group and a PC group so we can organize people to play together to get on servers? Or do we have any idea how that sort of stuff will work?
Yeah, we'll have to see, what kind of mechanisms they have, what kind of like lobby. A lot of multiplayer games will have a lobby, and you can go in and connect with people. There's a few. If there isn't any good system for it, then we'll have to look at maybe doing a TeamSpeak server or something like that to be able to gather together in. And then eventually at some point we'll be able to do private servers. That won't be available initially, but
and explain to me
at some point.
Explain to me what that actually means. What's the benefit of the private server? That means then you can add mods?
So you can add mods, and typically in a multiplayer game like that, when you do mods, everybody has to run the same exact mods.
Okay. Yeah.
And so typically when you set up a game, you say, okay, these are the mods we're going to play with. And, everybody's got to get those loaded into their game.
And hopefully that's just in that lobby / chat thing. Everyone gets together and be like, okay, here's the layout. Here's the mods we're running. Everyone click go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and in a private server, only people that you invite can come into the server to begin with. So
yeah, that makes sense.
And then I don't know if that point they will have cross-platform, or if that'll just be much later. Eventually, they'll have some cross-platform. I mean, it's just inevitable.
It makes me hopeful
because I think they want. I mean, that's what they want. They want everybody to be able to play together.
They're using the initial outrage to get people to give Sony a hard time for future endeavors, right?
Yeah, I don't know, because I mean, they have to realize if Fortnite can't do it, Fallout 76 isn't going to do it.
Long shot. Yeah, exactly. And I was kind of worried about that. I'd always heard about this phenomenon called Fortnite. You know what I mean? And I never really seen it played. And then I just recently witnessed Fortnite for the first time a few days ago. And I'm worried that Fallout 76 is kind of going to be a Fortnite ripoff. Do you get that at all?
No, not at all.
Okay, good. I don't know. For some reason, I was like, sort of like the battling and building on the run sort of thing. I was like, with the camp, you can build anywhere, so I didn't know if it was going to be that sort of thing or not.
Yeah, because there won't be any time pressure in the game.
Okay.
So, and then one of the last things was that right now Bethesda employees are the ones that are playing the game.
Yeah.
And once this goes into beta and then into regular release, they're still going to be playing on the servers with everybody else.
Oh, with like the general public?
Yeah.
Nice.
So, you could be playing away and bump into Todd Howard.
No, you won't.
You could.
No,
I mean, who knows how the servers are broken out and all that, but you never know.
It should be more honest. This is not really a beta that's being released sort of like exclusively to Xbox first, but it's not going to be like a really troubleshooting for game stuff. Like they said, it's kind of going to be a test of server compatibility and that sort of thing. You know what I mean? They're troubleshooting that sort of stuff. So they should just really call it like an early release for Xbox. They're doing their own beta testing right now. We're not really going to be any beta testers. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I mean, I think you still will, because one of the things about, testing a game like this is that, even with the hundreds of people that they have playing it right now, there's still going to be something that, that somebody else is going to, a different kind of player is going to do that, they just don't think about.
They're Bethesda bugs.
When you have thousands and thousands of people playing, then you start really seeing, how are people going to play? Because people that don't know how to play the game are going to be dramatically different than the people that built the game.
And so, why Xbox? Why Xbox first? Is it easier to test? Is it easier to deal with? Do they have a business relationship? Why Xbox first?
No doubt a business thing. Yeah. It was something that they were working on, and it's why they did the announcement during the Microsoft event at E3.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Was because they had this this agreement. So
have they released previous Fallout games or any of their like Skyrim or anything? Was that on Xbox early?
No, those have all been just well, I mean, I've never been part of their beta program, so
yeah,
it's going to be, this is different because it's also server testing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I imagine. That's what
see if it can manage the load. What happens, if everybody comes out of the vault and starts building right away and starts taxing the servers.
Or do you like their cheesy ass break it early test application or whatever? I'm like,
well, I mean, this is,
come on.
This is Fallout. It's all about the acronyms.
Yeah. It's hilarious. Oh, Chris mentions in his email here too that radio is a thing. You can switch on radios and then the radio on your Pip-Boy with tons of new songs from the 40s. So I'm excited. I always like the soundtracks. I know a lot of people don't like the Diamond City Radio or Three Dog Radio or whatever stuff in the video games. I always turn it on and leave the 1940s nostalgic radio rock and roll stuff playing when I play. I always like listening to that.
Yeah, I'll usually listen to the radio when I'm building settlements.
Oh, nice. They also mentioned the score is by the guy who did 4 and 3.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Ian something? No. I don't know.
Yeah.
Zimmerman, Goering, Zurich. I don't remember. Sorry.
Yeah.
That
guy.
Anything else, Ray? Fallout 76 mentioned there from
No, I think that was the gist of it. You know, the more they talk about it, the more fun it sounds. So it'll be interesting to see.
All right, guys, we need brainstorming. We're not, of course, we still don't know anything really yet, but when it rolls out on Xbox, we're gonna have to have everyone hit it hard and see how this character creation stuff is gonna work and how we're gonna incorporate the character generator for Pip-Boy, because we got to hit the ground running once the game goes wide to have this character generator go. And so Steve, and I don't know if Marcus is still around and paying attention to Fallout, but if he's going to jump into Fallout 76, we could use some input from him too. He's really good at the computer stuff. Ray, of course, we're gonna have to get a little powwow together to see how this character generator thing is going to work. Any ideas from anyone out there? Keep it in mind. Let us know what you think, because it's going to be a weird and wild adventure. This is a very much a different way about building the character. If you're not, see, that's the weird thing. Jess brought it up in the group. The big thing is that you don't get the initial 28 points to assign to a special category. That really shapes your character right off the bat, right?
Right.
So you start at 0 and you don't get anything. So you kind of have to literally build your character as you progress through the game.
Yep.
And there's a level cap. Didn't they mention some sort of level cap at 50 or something?
Well, yeah. So you stop getting specials after level 50.
Okay. So, okay. So level 50. And
the new max is going to be 15 per special.
There's 15 per special. So let's figure that out. What is it going to be? Sort of mathematically the same sort of balance that you'll be able to build with the character? It seems like there's going to be less points to invest. Or am I just thinking about it incorrectly?
Yeah. Well, I mean, now as you level through, you can run your specials up to the max.
Yeah, like Jeremy did. Jeez.
Yeah. But with the new system, you won't be able to. There's going to be some that you're just not going to be able to get to. To 15.
It's interesting. 15. That seems really high. And especially because you don't get the initial 28 points to invest. You're just building 50 levels. You get to invest in a special each level. And as you increase your special, that means you can increase the amount of cards that you can have loaded and in that special category.
Right. Yeah, because that, there is still some inherent value, because like they were saying that perception is still going to improve your VATs, even if you don't do any perk cards in it. Just the fact that you have, enough points in perception, that's going to improve your VATs. So there will still be some of that,
and
it's just not clear how much.
It increases your radius of knowing where bad guys are on your Pip-Boy and stuff like that. Doesn't perception do that in Fallout 4, I think, right?
Yeah.
Increases your radius of awareness or whatever.
Right. So it'll be interesting. I mean, there's still plenty of questions.
Tons. Yeah. But are there any other sort of events like this before the release, or was that the last big chunk of info we're going to get before beta drop?
Well, I don't think there's any more Bethesda events, but no doubt they'll be out doing interviews and stuff like that. So there'll be more stuff to come.
Yeah, more.
And they're still tweaking it because they're playing it and figuring out what works and what doesn't, and so they're still tweaking it. I think the game mechanics itself, the actual programming stuff is pretty well locked in. Now they can just sit there and tweak stuff until it's the way they like it.
And now they try to break it, as they're saying.
Yeah.
Right on. Perfect. Getting excited to check out a new Fallout game, Ray.
Indeed.
Even though I'm still enjoying Fallout 4. Craig mentioned that he's getting a little burnt out on Fallout 4, and he's not going to be able to send in feedback for the rest of the season. I told him that's A-okay. He's allowed to bow out. But then I remembered, oh, man, it's because he drew Cannibal again, and he just got...
I thought I was digging that.
Getting burnt out on the Cannibal. Oh, that's so great. So great. Yeah, guys. Another awesome batch of feedback. Ray, thank you so much for the information on the Fallout 76. Chris, also for your email for the information of Fallout 76. New listener, Sarah, again, awesome. Thanks for coming on. Shout out. Thanks for hanging out in the YouTube group. Who else was in there, Ray? Jess was in there. Freighter.
Yeah, Wendy was in there for a little bit.
Nice. Good. There's lots of good active chat over there. So thanks everyone hanging out in the YouTube chat. And for the email, Sarah. Awesome to hear from you. QuakeCon news. Thanks, Ray. Josh, kidney vacation. Too bad that's over. Sorry, buddy. Adam Plude, our thoughts are with you. And everyone keep retweeting Carrie's funds, flash mob stuff. Pete Hines actually retweeted that and donated himself a little bit. So that's really awesome that we got attention of some of the folks over there at Bethesda. Ray, thank you for joining me. Do you have anything else you'd like to get into?
Nope. I'm good to go.
Wonderful. Thanks to Chris, Jen, Jerem, Jess, Josh, Leon, Mark with a W, Rebecca, Steve, and Freighter for a lovely batch of feedback. I'd like to thank everyone for listening to this edition of the Fallout Feed. And we will see you in the wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, the Skyrimatic Podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.